Hi, I'm Simon, and I'm an asshole.
Okay. No, Gondo, you actually have to do the intro. You have to say, like, welcome to the Good Keyboard Friends podcast, and you have to say it's episode 11. That's all you have to say.
Okay, I'm Simon, I'm an asshole. Welcome to the Good Friends podcast, and this is episode 11.
Yay!
Today we're talking with Hubert, right? He's a person in this community, and we're gonna talk about projects and stuff like that. Welcome, Hubert. Thank you for being here with us today.
Dankeschön. We're also here with a co-host that everybody knows, Black Simon, and Tanghus from Denmark. James couldn't make it, but that's fine. But we were talking about like particles or elements that we've had inside of ourselves before we started the episode.
We were talking about the shocking reality.
We were not talking about that. We're talking about water. I was not talking about shit I had inside myself. No, that was not a thing.
Well, what's the worst thing that has entered your body? Just in general.
Oh man. There were, I was in London a couple weeks ago and I ate some burritos and that shit was very bad. That was probably it.
Fuck. Those burritos, man.
I guess COVID for me is like the worst thing that's entered my body.
That's a good
like
one.
I've never had anything worse than that.
That's fair. Yeah.
It wasn't too bad, but like still.
Yeah.
It was a very specific thing that like
I think the worst thing that entered my body, at least he had to go to jail after, so I think that's fine.
I was gonna say, like, are we counting my uncle or are we not counting my uncle? But no. And our sponsor for saying, I'm just joking.
That's actually a good thing to enter your body.
Yeah.
So I once
maybe he's nice. Maybe I don't know.
Exactly. I once inhaled like a quarter of an entire glass of milk by accident, and the pain of like having a whole bunch of milk in your lungs.
Oh no.
That was pretty fucking bad. That was up there for like worst things in my body.
Is it because you were drinking milk and then you started laughing? Or did you just...
I think I may have like gasped or laughed or something. I don't remember. I just remember like the immediate burning, stabbing pain because it was a lot of milk.
Oh my God.
Like normally when you accidentally like inhale a little bit, you accidentally inhale a little water and you can just like cough it up. No, I was there for like a solid like 45, 55 minutes. Eyes fucking bloodshot. Like a dog that had fucking eaten something bad.
Yeah.
Fuck. Aspirating water sucks.
That and COVID.
So basically you're dying with cheese in your lungs.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it felt as bad as like when I had pneumonia. Like I was like, I want to die. Dying would be really good right now.
They're going to find Simon in like 20,000 years and they're going to find there's like cheese in his lungs and then they're going to think that humanity had that. Can you imagine if they find Simon, in 20,000 years and they think that Simon was like the benchmark for humanity? And they think like the average human was
what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, how do they survive this long?
Yeah, how the fuck did they, they were so skinny and,
And why did they have copious amounts of copper around them?
And what are these things called waifus?
Oh God.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can obviously tell, we have the great Gondo with us as the guest for this podcast. Real quick, for the audio listeners, you definitely want to join in the video variant of this because Gondo is sexy as fuck, boy. He's jacked like a motherfucker.
Gondo is...
I really hope I was, and no, really not.
So, for those of you that don't know, Gondo is a designer of many sorts, but primarily he enjoys engineering. He's a big fucking nerd. Even though he's jacked, he didn't used to be jacked. Like, what was it, like 3 or 4 years ago? He was a big fucking guy. Now he's a jacked fucking guy.
Pretty much, yeah.
But Gondo is probably the best, or tied for the best, PCB designer on the entire fucking planet when it comes to keyboards. Okay? When it comes to designing keyboards themselves, I don't know. He tries to make them real curvy like his fucking cougars. That I don't like. But his PCBs,
Down with the rectangle dictatorship.
I mean, I think there's something beautiful about the story about designing input devices and realizing I can redesign the input itself.
Mm.
And then he got jacked.
Yeah. How else?
It's
How else
poetic.
will you? Yeah.
It's poetic.
Yeah,
Yes.
it really is.
Well, because when your shoulders grow, you're instead of typing like this, you have to have further distance, right? That's where the Alice's, like the Compact Ergo and things like that, they come into play. It's more ergonomical as you get more jacked, right, Gondo?
It's more dependent on bone structure actually, and that's
Mm.
something you can't change, right?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Surely, like as your muscles grow, you lose the full range of motion that you would have had before, right? Like, because like I guarantee you, there's like a spot on your back that you used to be able to reach that you now can't because your own muscles are in the fucking way.
No,
If
you
you get
just
too
do this
big.
thing called
Oh, really?
stretching. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the secret is if you stretch, you can actually reach shit. Fuck. Why haven't I been doing this?
Yeah. Okay, so there's a big difference. One of them being if you're one of those competitive bodybuilders that you're huge, you're immense, then yeah, maybe you're gonna lose some function. No, I know this guy in my gym, and he is a competitive bodybuilder. Dude is immense that he can't like turn the wheel in his car properly. So yeah,
It's
that
literally
happens.
the meme of the guy with the fucking
Pretty much,
super
yeah. So
jacked arm.
bald guy, he had like tattooed head.
Yeah.
But he's like a lady. He's a very nice lady when you talk to him, Hello Kitty shirt, amazing. Yesterday he had a Sailor Moon shirt, so yeah, picture that. Like 7 feet tall guy. He's huge. And
What you're
he's a
saying
very
is
nice guy. But
Brazil.
that kind of guy, he can't, turn his head. He can't reach his back. Okay, yes. So he needs his girlfriend to scratch his back, I guess, which is a good thing. I think it's brings them together more a little bit.
You know, you're goddamn right.
Yep.
Is Brazil just full of weebs? I'm curious.
Jack weebs.
Probably. Yeah. Well, you see, Brazil has
like,
the
have you
second
ever, like-
largest Japanese community outside of Japan, so that explains a lot.
Okay, explain to me, but by what do you mean by Japanese community?
Japanese ancestry.
Okay,
They
so
have a
like
lot-
people that originated from Japan, not like a bunch of Japanese people that currently live there.
Isn't that the same
Right?
thing though? Like,
No, one is very different than the other. One is culturally attached to, their origins, blah blah blah, and their history, but one is actually from there, like was just fucking living there and
yeah.
now lives.
Well, we had a
in different-
huge incursion of Japanese people coming in after the war, so we still have those guys. So my grandfather, not actually mine, but I have friends who say, yeah, my grandfather is actually Japanese. So that's the thing, and they do try to keep the customs and the traditions together. So there's a huge there's neighborhoods in certain cities dedicated to that kind of thing, the Japanese community. So in that regard, yes, we have. Actually, in my town,
Okay, but
which is
those-
not São Paulo, by the way, we have like Japanese parties and festivals. Where
Okay,
they
so
have actually
all of
the
this
food and.
so far is not weeb, right? Because like when I say weeb,
Well, you see, the
I'm not
Japanese
talking
culture
about-
is very particular. The Japanese culture is awesome. I love Japanese; they're amazing people, but it comes with its own set of issues like weebs and anime, and degeneracy.
okay,
You'd
so you're
love it here.
saying from that subset there is a further subset that is weebs.
Absolutely, yes. And
Okay.
we embrace them. So we embrace the whole weeb thing. So yes, there are a lot of
who's we?
the Brazilian people.
Okay.
I'm starting to get into it myself. As a matter of fact, let me show you this. Since you start talking about weebs and waifus and that kind of thing, so I've just received this keyboard. So
If it
this
has
is from an
horns on it,
anime,
I'm leaving.
and this is pretty nice, right? This is pretty nice. So this is by Vol. This is
Ooh.
called the Geass. So
Called
Geass is an
Geass.
anime, and it's pretty nice. And I designed
Wait,
a PCB
I know
for
that
this.
anime.
It's pretty
Wait,
nice. It's a pretty nice
I'm
anime.
actually interested in this.
And
I was
then
gonna
Vol was
judge you
like,
real
okay,
hard.
so do you want one? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want one because it's a damn nice keyboard, right? And I was like, okay, that's awesome. And then he sent me the keyboard, and this is the keyboard. And it's a pretty nice keyboard, it's nice, it's okay. Oh, it's dope. But once you look
are those horns on it? Or is that
no,
plastic?
they're just like side. No, it's plastic because
Okay.
I'm like that. So it has
Okay, I'm
side
just
profiles
making sure.
and it has finishes and that kind of thing. But once you take a look into the back weight, though,
Ooh.
It's for the audio listeners. You are missing out. So
you're missing out dearly.
For
Yes.
the audio listener, stop right now. Go to YouTube, restart.
You see that? Yes. So see, I don't know how to handle this because I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
So I was
It's
like,
hidden
what the
then,
fuck
right?
do I do with this now? Because my mom is eventually gonna see this. I guess I don't know. And
The mom, it's
I mean,
not
you could
mine. I'm
build the
holding it for
keyboard.
a friend.
yeah, mom, it's a friend. So yeah.
It
So I
belongs
guess
to this
I'll
guy
leave
called
now.
Simon. He's a big weeb.
Don't
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Don't look him up. Yeah. So I don't know what to do this. No, I think I should build it, and hide this. But it's a damn nice keyboard, though. It's a pretty nice keyboard.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. I only have 2 keyboard related questions for you.
What's up?
And before that, when we were talking about stretching, so everybody here has tried to fucking suck their own dick, right?
No shit is wrong with you, dude.
What? No, come on, guys.
That has
Come
never
on, guys.
crossed my mind. No.
Okay, no.
Okay,
You
wait,
can't
wait.
bullshit me.
Okay, now here's the thing. There's a difference between trying to and like looking at the problem and being like, no, that's not feasible. It's like trying to like
Okay.
suck your own toes.
Here we
and you're
go.
just like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. Don't try. You're just gonna hurt yourself. Right?
Simon, you're sugarcoating. You actually have tried, haven't you?
No.
We've all tried.
No.
The thing is, it's not really a big issue because it's just a matter of how you swing your hips, and then you just like,
The fuck are you talking
and
about?
then you have a
Really
trunk laying up
educated.
here.
Have you actually thought about that? What the?
Oh, me
fuck?
or Tanghus?
No.
Oh,
It's a
dude.
case of how you swing your hip because then it will automatically, the trunk will automatically spin enough, land up here, and then you have easy access to it. Don't even have to like pull it up and like lay it over your shoulder yourself.
Yeah. The Danes are well known to be well endowed, but the half Asian, half Germans are not. So fuck me, I guess. But I tried. I was really flexible for the longest time. I can put both my feet behind my head, but I cannot do the splits.
I used to be a lot more flexible, like back when I was in shape. I think is like, yeah. I should get back in shape again. Like Gondo did it. I mean, Gondo didn't get like back in shape. Gondo like went way past the fucking goalpost and got fucking jacked over the course of like 8 months. like you were thick, then you were like normal-ish, and then boom, you were jacked.
Yeah. That's the way to go, right? Like if you're
just
skinny
went out
or-
and did it.
Yeah, if you haven't exercised, and if you're someone whose body reacts in that way, you may gain like some additional fat and stuff like that, but you're building yourself up, and then once you slim down a bit, you can see all the gains. Like that's fucking awesome, dude.
Honestly, it was never my intention of getting huge. That was never my thing. I just needed something to let all of this steam off.
It was a lot of fucking steam then.
It is. Yes, it was. Lots of very bad family problems. Pandemic was also a problem. Sprinkle a little bit of depression, and so during the pandemic, I got very into a very weird state of mind. That's where the newspaper thing came up. I had to let some of it go. So I was talking to my mom, and she was like, "Okay, you need to do some physical thing, otherwise you're gonna blow up, right?" So initially, I bought a bike. So I was like 160 kilograms heavy. I don't know how much that is in freedom units. I'm sorry for the American
I will
people.
tell you right now.
That's like
350,
400
360?
something pounds. Yeah,
Wait, what was it? How many kilos? 160?
160. Yes.
360.
2.22.
And
355 pounds.
there you go. So yeah, that's awesome. The bike was awesome, and eventually, a year after the bike, I got I wouldn't say very lean, but I got to a very nice point. I lost like 80, 70 something kilograms.
Holy shit.
Holy fuck, dude.
Fuck yeah. And then I started a gym. The problem with the bike was that it's very difficult and very dangerous to ride the bike here because we don't have dedicated space for it. The traffic here is very chaotic.
And you couldn't just like go to a gym and use like a fake bicycle? Like you had to like
well,
be
that's
out on
the
a real
thing.
bicycle?
The nice thing about bikes is that you go places.
Yeah.
So biking around and having the open space and that kind of thing. Biking in a gym is it's boring, honestly.
Yeah, it's just
myself, I don't
mechanical.
like it.
There's nothing there to like stimulate you.
fuck yeah, So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to the gym, which is a little bit safer, and I just found myself in there, and I started training very hard. But at first, I went just I just went and started. I had these friends of mine that also were doing gym for some time, and then eventually I got into it. But it's always something that I do to let some steam off, from all of the things that I do, and I do lead a very anxious life. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
So that's something that I just go so I like keep the body count low, I guess. You know,
I don't know,
get those things in
Gondo.
check.
I don't know. I honestly think. I mean, I have like more intimate knowledge of like the shit that Gondo went through, and like knowing that all the shit that's like been happening in your life, and irrespective of that, being able to push for such change is something that's fucking heroic. Being
Yeah.
able to use that much force and to push so hard, like. I can't really put it in perspective for you guys, but like it was a major fucking success for you. You've come so unbelievably far given like the situation, right?
Yeah, it was, I had to claw my way out of the situation, yes.
Yeah. Because like when
But
Gondo was talking about depression, like it like real fucking like real depression shit.
it was dark. Yes, it was problematic. But the pandemic was a weird time for everyone, wasn't it? Everyone
Yeah.
had their own way of dealing with that. My particular problem was that I do have a safety net, but the problem is that right after I had lots of problems in my life, pandemic hit. So everyone was closed down at home. I live quite far away from my family, so let's say like 13, 12 hours away. So that wasn't something that I could just, go see someone, I wouldn't say that I'm a closed person, not exactly, but I'm not that guy that makes a lot of friends. I'm not that guy that goes into some place and leaves with a couple of friends. I'm used to having long friends from long past and very very good ones. Then again, not something that you can just go see them as we can today. So I just had to deal with it on my own, and I had my way of dealing with it, and I'm happy with that. It turned out well in the end. Made a lot of mistakes, but life has those moments. And that was it. So the gym was always something that was very meditational.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
say, okay, a good word is meditation, because the matter of fact is that once you have like 450 pounds in your back and I have to squat that, there's no, you can't think of anything else. You have to focus on that. So it really helps you stop thinking about certain things and get into a certain mindset. So today I use it as a kind of divider in my day. So I do have my day work, my day job. I'm a researcher, and in the middle of the afternoon, say 4 or 5, then I have my pre-trained meal, and then I go to the gym, and then when I come back, I do keyboards and I do other stuff too. So it serves as a kind of a mindset shift in my day too. So it's pretty nice.
Can you tell the lads here like what you do for work? Because like I find it pretty interesting.
Well, basically, I'm a researcher. I'm an electronic engineer with a minor in applied mathematics, and
Holy shit.
I hold a PhD in electrical engineering. I'm actually to defend the entire thesis in a month.
Good luck. Good luck.
I'm just very anxious, biting my nails off, that kind of thing. So I'm a researcher. I'm a ultra nerd. I'm the worst kind of person. I'm that guy that does electrical engineering and applied math. So
And then gets jacked
and then I get jacked. Yes,
and
exactly.
steals your girl. He's the whole package.
Yeah.
He's the whole
Oh
fucking
man,
package.
I wish I wish I
He's
could I
got it
could
all.
get girl. The gym is a weird place in the sense that, so basically
I know where you're going with this.
I'm an engineer, so you can imagine that electrical engineering, you don't get many girls in electrical engineering, right? At least here. So that starts like that, you know? And then at the gym, there's never a girl that comes to me and say, hey, you're very strong. No, it's always a guy. Say, hey, what you're eating, what you're taking, what you're doing, you know? So I'm approached by guys and I'm like, fuck. And actually, I'm so like in the zone in the gym because then again, 400 something pounds. Was it yesterday there was that lifting like 250 kilograms or something like that, which is 500 something pounds?
Yeah.
I had the gym instructor is instructor is the name, the teachers, I don't know how to call them,
Trainer.
Yeah.
and she was treating me in the nicest way possible, you know. She was like, hey, I would ask that if you could, you didn't, you know, let the weights on the floor and that kind of thing with this. Okay, sure, but you could have just told me before, you know. And she was like, yeah, but I was a little afraid of telling you because of, you know, the way that you're doing things. I'm like, okay, so people are actually afraid of me when I'm, you know, actually doing things because of how much in the zone I am.
Here's a question, real quick. Why the fuck is she complaining when you're squatting or where you're deadlifting? You were squatting, right?
The thing is, I am you can find many people in the gym. Many people that want different things. So the gym might look like a place where you go and lift weights, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. Some people just go there to do their cardio in the morning. Because the gym that I go to is one of those huge gym brands that you pay very little for. It's a pretty good gym, but it's what we call a high value, low cost, high value gym. So the idea is that they have 5 times more payers than they have people that frequent, right? So that's their business model. People pay and then go. That's basically
that's the case with like the majority of gyms, right?
YMCA for sure.
Yeah.
So there are some people that go there to just do their morning cardio. There are people to go there just to meet people. So they just go to the gym and they, you know, do stuff like this and then they do the movements, but they just want to be there to have some place to meet people and their friends, you know, to get out of home, something like that.
Yeah, there's all kinds. There's people that go there to get the photos for fucking Instagram. You've got all fucking kinds.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. If you're a pretty girl and you're in the gym taking pictures, absolutely continue doing that. Just let me look at you when you're doing it. But the thing is, it's a place for everyone.
No shame.
No, absolutely not. You know, because the matter of fact is that people have to understand, if someone goes to the gym to take pictures for Instagram, that's one side of the gym. That's it. People go there to because of their body, you know, they want to show their body, and that's Instagram today. I'm fine with that, you know.
No, like I get you.
I just don't like it when they're like in a machine, and then they keep the machine for everyone because that pisses me off. I'm like, could you please, you know. But hey, I'm fine with that, you know. As a matter of fact, the more people go there and do nothing, the better, because then the gym gets more, the gym is kept alive. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But the matter of fact is that I'm the guy that goes to the gym, and I'm an amateur power lifter is what I'm doing. So basically, the idea is to lift the most amount of weight that you can. And then again, when you're squatting that much weight and when you're deadlifting that much weight, you're making noise. You know, when you let 250 kilograms into the floor, you don't
put it gently.
You know, it just boom, it just falls to the floor. And you, as much as you can try to do it, you know, in a controlled way, it's difficult. So the gym instructors, they go, hey, could you please not? I'm like, hey, I can try. I'm trying to do my best.
Man. The thing, I hope you haven't experienced this, and I don't think it is as big of a problem now, because people have been calling people like these out, but the influencers who get angry when they're recording and they catch some creep when in reality it's just some random gym goer that doesn't know what's going on, and maybe like a quick glance, like, why is that person recording their glutes, you know, like when they're doing a specific workout, and then they blast that stranger on social media. Like, that's fucking stupid. It's not as toxic as it used to be, but
why are you even fucking talking about it? It's so fucking absurd, dude.
Oh my God.
Getting involved in it in any sort of way is such a fucking waste of time. Let it fucking die. Fuck those people.
It's difficult to translate some things into perspective. Everyone wants to be special. Everyone wants to be special.
No, everyone thinks they're special.
No, everyone wants to be special. Everyone wants to think that they're not just 1 in 8 billion, you know, because it's a very jarring thought, you know, that you're just 1 in 8 billion, that maybe if you didn't exist, humanity would be just fine. That's a very bad thought to have in your head. So everyone wants to
I'm okay with that thought. I love it.
myself too, but the matter of fact is that it's a very difficult thing to internalize, isn't it? It's a very difficult thing to get in your head. So people, they want to be special, and the problem with, like, when you see me on the street, I would imagine that it's very difficult to tell that that guy has a PhD. That guy has dedicated 15 years of his life studying, like, just doing that in his life. To get a piece of paper that says doctor. It's something that you can't tell, or you can't tell that I read 50 books a year. You can't tell things about me. You can't tell anything about my family, about my where I came from, that kind of thing. However, you can tell that I go to the gym. So the body is one of those things that shows itself. So the self-image of the body is something that's very delicate to people, and it really, really, really messes up with people. And not surprisingly, with young women, right? Because I think that body image is something that's very important to them. For men too, but I think that men are not that, they're not very tied to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, men are just marketed to in a very different way, in the same way that
Pretty
the beauty
much.
industry takes advantage of, how easy it can be to tarnish a woman's, self-image. For men, we still have we have our man shit. That's catered to
We
us.
do.
We have alcohol, we have motorcycles, we have expensive electronics, we have fucking,
Keyboards.
helicopters and fucking jet skis and
But the thing is,
like
it's a little bit,
and
it's farther away
barbecue
from,
and grilling.
it's not as focused on beauty and body as it is for women, right? Because
Uh,
I have a younger sister, and that shit is brutal, man. The stuff that she says to me, they're very
yeah.
brutal. I'm like,
I mean,
that's very hard to deal with.
men want to be in good shape, right? For the same reason that like women want to look good.
Indeed, but the thing is,
I know that one market is significantly larger than the other, but I'm saying like
it's
there
it's
I'm
not the
saying
same.
I'm
It's
saying
not the
there's
same.
an opportunity here.
It's much more expected of women, I would say, because, like, I'm a 30-year-old bachelor. So when you get into my home, in my studio, you can see that I'm a
Bro,
30-year-old
you're a
bachelor.
30-year-old
I've got
bachelor.
an Iron Maiden flag here. I've got
So I'm
keyboards
gonna
all
come
over.
at you.
I've got a
I'm
Darth
gonna come
Vader.
at you
I'm
with a
clearly not.
sports gambling app. That's what that's
Exactly.
not good. Exactly, but that's not something you would ever try and sell to a woman. I'm saying that there's a lot of things that target men that you don't think
Indeed,
about.
what I'm saying is, for women, it's much more targeted towards self-image and the body and the way that the purpose
Exactly.
of society, that kind of thing. So when you see some, then again, the pretty girl about the gym, I know that my comment was, I wouldn't say bad, but you see pretty girls in the gym taking pictures because that's important for them, right? And I get that. I get that you feel that your space is being violated if I get into your frame that you're taking, or because you want to feel special to your viewers or whoever you're marketing with. But what you've got to understand is that I don't give a fuck. I'm just in the gym doing my thing.
Thank you.
So that has happened to me a lot of times, that there was this girl in the gym, and there's this machine in the gym called the leg press. And that machine is generally very, very busy, right? Basically, the leg press is the squat that it preserves your back. So it's kind of a squat, but without all of the effort. You just focus on your legs, and people use that a lot.
It's the one where your feet are slightly up and you push the weights like at a
Exactly.
45-degree
And
angle.
the idea here is that you get the same movement as the squat, but you don't get all the strain on your back. For instance, you don't need to focus on
really
your balance and that kind of thing, which is cool. It's not as good a movement, of course, but it's cool. So people like that very much, and it's a very busy machine. And then when you go to that, and you go to this girl, and this has happened lots of times with different girls. I'm like, hey, how many sets you have left? And she's like, I have a boyfriend. I'm like, congratulations. How many sets you have left? Like, so they have this, it has gone to a point where these girls and whoever is in the gym, they think that the simplest questions of, hey, how many sets you have left, are just a conversation starter. I'm like, I just want to talk to you. No, that's not the thing. I don't want to talk to you. I don't think you're special. Yes, you're pretty, you're attractive, thank you. I just want to use the leg press, so but the thing is, having all of that in mind, knowing how difficult it is, and all of the context behind that, I can't help myself but be a little bit more gracious about it, So, hey, I have a boyfriend, and I'm like, I'm sure he's delightful. I just want to know, how many sets you have left, because I need to use the machine. And then they go, oh, it's classical. They go, oh, okay, so I have one set left. I've never had someone like, okay, I have once had this person go, hey, could you not go this way because I'm filming? And I'm
nicely
like, okay.
or not nicely?
Huh?
Nicely? They said that nicely? Or like,
yeah, she was like,
not
hey,
in a rude
so
way.
I'm she was using this particular machine. I was like, could you not go like this area here because it's my frame and I'm filming? I'm like, okay.
That's
So, but I've never had the how can I say this, that event how you see on the internet, like, hey, this guy is looking at me and he's a creep. No, I've never had that. I've never seen that in Brazil. I think that's a very American thing.
Yes,
it's a very Karen thing.
Joey Swole. For
much.
those that go on YouTube, look up Joey Swole's YouTube channel. He's a fitness
with a
influencer.
name like that. I don't think I need to look him up. I got it. I see him.
So people send him again. I think this is the minority because for me, I have my own gym downstairs, and fitness has been my whole life since I was like 10 years old. So I've seen the different iterations of fitness, like different trends and shit like that. But people send him things like somebody complaining that somebody is flexing in the bathroom of a gym, and the person that's flexing in the bathroom of the gym is, showing off their flexing on social media, and then they get angry when somebody else that's just wanting to use the bathroom says, hey, can you not film in the bathroom because there's a rule about not filming. Or someone who's exercising and they're just minding their own business and they take a quick glance over to the left where they see some fitness influencer doing whatever exercise, and then they call that random stranger out like, oh my God, I can't believe that creep is looking at me. Like, no, for the most part, when you're at the gym, whoever you are, you're solely focused on doing what you're focusing on. Like, you're not really paying attention to anybody else. If you want to do cardio, you're doing cardio. If you want to do weights, you're doing weights. Nobody is like, oh, I want to creep on this girl for the most part. And I think
the thing that you're talking about, like, it seems so specific that I don't believe that it's real. Like,
it's real, dude. It's real. For those of you that have gone to the gym, especially commercial gyms and gyms that aren't powerlifting gyms.
When I say it's not real, I mean like the people like making these accusations, like for sure it's not fucking real.
It's real, dude.
They can't be that fucking stupid.
They are.
Real. Yeah.
It's absolutely real. It's a problem. But it's better because of people like Joey Swole, people like Gondo, people that show that, hey, the gym is a welcoming environment that everyone else can feel welcome at. Like, if you record something and somebody passes your recording area, yeah, of course, okay, maybe you go up to Gondo and be like, hey, so I'm filming here, can you not be in my frame? But to just specifically call out people for being creeps and things like that when they're not creeps, it's sad. And again, it's probably a minority nowadays, but it's a very real thing. So
I think that there's a lot more that goes into that, into just the gym thing, because this day and age, we are everyone chronically online. I think that's a very bad thing, honestly. I'm absolutely unable, to do that. For instance, I was pressed into doing an Instagram for keyboards. I still don't update it. It's not a thing that's
I think I posted like 6 times as well.
I really dislike it. Facebook, Twitter, whatever. I don't have those.
Yep, same.
So I'm just. It was very hard for me to be in Discord, for instance, to keep checking Discord.
I think Discord is different. Like,
yes, it's different. It's very welcoming because it's not really a social media. It's more like an instant messaging thing. So I get the idea,
exactly.
and it's fine for me.
Like, if you remove the idea of like servers and think of Discord as just an instant messenger where like your friends are there, that's it. That's like what pushes me to use Discord. The servers are there. I might check them. I might not check them. I don't fucking care. But like, it's where I talk to friends.
But I think that that gym phenomenon is also, I think it's much more related to the social media thing, because people, they want to be exposed in the internet like 24/7, and I think that that's sad in some way, So when you go to, so I went to this, I was in Milano, right? So I've just gotten back from Italy. And I was there doing part of my PhD. I was there for 5 months, and amazing city, amazing place, and lots of nice. They have this very nice stand-up comedy scene there. It's
Wait,
pretty interesting.
Gondo, before we continue, what bad words did you learn to say in Italian?
A lot of them.
Okay, go. I want like at
No.
least 7.
No, you're
Five.
not. No.
5,
Simon,
3.
I'm not gonna curse in Italian for you. You know.
Why not?
Crocodile,
I'm not
Però-
gonna
Gigante,
curse in Italian.
Stronto.
Ma cazzo, perché voglio che parli
Oh,
italiano?
yes,
Ma
yes,
non vuole
yes,
parlare
yes.
italiano, puttana. There you go.
This is my
That's as
work
much as I
day.
say.
Every fucking day this is my work day.
Fuck that.
Really?
Yes.
And so the thing is, they have this huge stand-up comedy scene, and then when you go to open mics, everyone is filming it. And I'm like, can you please just stop and listen to the actual person that is in like a very like this frightening situation, that is an open mic, to just expose yourself that much for an audience that you don't know, and they're filming it, and I'm like, fuck that. So I hate that kind of thing. Concerts, oof.
Yeah, use your memory,
Fuck.
dude. Like, experience the thing
It's-
with your
it's not
eyeballs
the memory,
and put it
because
into your brain.
The thing is, are you actually gonna see that? So I was in this concert, Iron Maiden concert a couple years ago, and everyone was filming, and I'm like, are you actually watching that? Are you actually watching a shitty footage of Iron Maiden that's filmed like that far away in your cell phone with someone? No, you're not. You're absolutely not. First, because if you want to listen to the songs, you can just listen to the songs in whatever app you want. And second, because it's bad to look at that. It's a shitty, and you're moving all around because everyone's hitting on you, that kind of thing. So the filming is not good either. So you're never watching that anyway. So might as well just enjoy the show and the guys that
Yeah.
are there. Those guys
And
are not
it's-
going to be there for long.
And listen, if you want to film a little, that's okay. Like, we're talking about people that like the whole fucking show. Because like last time I went to a concert was like 2016, and I got like 3,
There are
4
lots
like
of
short
them.
videos. So like me and
There are
friends,
lots of them.
and like what was going on. But that was it. Like, we spent the rest of the night having a good fucking time.
And I was pissed at that, but it's interesting because I was reading this Brazilian author. We have this huge Brazilian author called Machado de Assis, and once he wrote something that's very nice. So the protagonist of the book, he goes to a he has some books stored in his house, and then he sees worms in the books, and the worms are eating the pages. And then he's like, that's very sad, because the worms, they're eating the pages, but they don't know what the pages mean. The very rich language that goes beyond that, and the words, they have no idea what clues going them. They're just eating the pages away. And I feel that that was a metonym, that was a metaphor for how people live life, isn't it? That people just live life. They don't know what's underlying it. They don't live life as it has any meaning. They just go through it. And that's, even though that's a little bit pampered by social media in the way that it goes, it's really a timeless problem, if you really think about it, that people just go about life, and they don't find meaning in the things that they do, which is very sad, but it's not new. People generally say that kind of thing is new. It's brought about by this new generation, that people are chronically online and that kind of thing. I'm like, nope. You can read, very, very, very old ass books that talk about the same thing in a different fashion, of course, but they're just the same thing.
But not
I
social
also
media,
see
like
it-
hanging out.
I also see it as an analogy for like the exploitation of resources and the wildly inefficient ways that, we're using them as a society, where, the earth has so much value, but we're fucking it up and getting so little value out of it. Is basically like,
Yeah.
I guess it could be used as a metaphor for that.
Maybe, human nature has those things. We just use things as we want them, and we don't think about the bigger picture of, what that actually does to
Yeah,
the
I
overall
think some
environment.
people do, though. I think like a lot of people do. Like a lot of people are cognizant of like what life is, what's important. There's a lot
I'm
of good
sorry,
people.
no, there's not. No,
Really?
I'm sorry,
The world's
I'm
a
not that
big
person.
fucking place, dude.
I'm very skeptic of that. I've seen only a couple of people that ever thought about their environment while they do stuff. Like, hey, this thing that I'm throwing away in the trash. I had this friend of mine, Casadurin. We can talk about this guy, and he was the sweetest person ever. And when he was like, so we were in this restaurant, And in Brazil, there's a very common type of restaurant, which is what we call rodízio. I think it's a round serving. I think that's what you call in English, where you just stand at the table, and then the waiters and the people at the restaurant, they keep bringing you the food, right? It's very popular in those Brazilian steakhouses.
Yes, yes.
And then it's very common for us to do something like this. So we take the plate, and then we fill with some rice or with some salad. And then we take a second plate for the meat or the whatever it is, the first course or whatever it is, and he would just use one plate. And I was like, why would you mix the flavors and that kind of thing? That's, and he was like, yeah, but I don't want to make the guys in the kitchen wash 3 plates. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I thought it was a very shallow thought, in my opinion, because they don't actually wash the plates. They probably have a machine to do that. But it's a very nice thing that you're, in a restaurant, and you're like, hey, someone is going to wash this. Someone's going to have the actual trouble of washing this. And he was thinking about recycling, right? So he was like, in Brazil, we don't recycle at all. And he's like, hey, maybe we should make the garbage people life easier, So he would not buy like huge trash, because we have those huge trash bags in Brazil, black huge trash bags, and it's very common. And he would just use smaller ones, because then it would be easier for the people that work in the trash disposal to bring those to the trucks and that kind of thing. I think he had one of his relatives that worked on that too. So that was like one of the 2 people that I've saw that ever thought out of his life. He was like, I'm going to do stuff because other people exist. No, that was just him. I'm sorry. Most of the humanity, I don't live like that. I don't think about other people when I'm doing my stuff, which is bad. I tried. Honestly, I tried, but it's not in me. I don't have that.
What's his name again?
So the thing is, his
you
name
don't have to,
was...
You don't have to say, yeah.
The community knows him as Tom.
Tom.
So Tom was a guy that designed Sagittarius with me. So the thing is, when I got into university, Tom was a childhood friend. So I already met Tom. But we had this other guy, and this other guy was the person who introduced us to keyboards. And so we were very fans of Lord of the Rings. And we met each other around that, basically. So we made this, just us 3, we made this Lord of the Rings book club, where we would speak in Elven among us. So I was Gondolindran, Tom was Khazad-dûm, which is the Dwarven city. And then we had the Gondolindran are the Hidden Elves, right? Because there's a city. And he was Korean descendant, I believe. Either his parents or his grandparents are Korean, South Korean. He was Numenorian.
I was going to ask. Ooh.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if he was Japanese or something, based off like everything that you like described, using like smaller trash bags to not like bother people. I'm like, that sounds a lot like a Japanese person.
No, that was actually Tom. That was actually Khazad-dûm. Numenorian was a very close person, like very, very, very close. He was one of those guys that never opened his mouth to say anything, just the right thing.
That's awesome.
He would just say the right thing.
Those are the best people.
I wish I had that, man. I speak too much. I wish I was like that.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on the perfect place to do it, because it's a fucking podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, he wasn't very popular. Let's put it that way. Even though he was an amazing friend, he wasn't very popular, but he was happy in his own way, I guess. And yeah, so that was the only Tom was the only person that I met that actually thought about someone else.
Fuck yeah! Shout out Tom. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Tanghus, I thought you were gonna say something when we were talking about concerts. I didn't want to leave you out. Did you have something about living in the moment or something? I saw your your rectangle pop up.
I was trying to.
If not, that's fine.
Do you see my rectangle, Hugh?
I see it too.
I see it. For the audio listeners out there, Simon has his pants down and he's showing us his rectangle.
There's nothing to see, honestly, guys.
Also true.
I'm not impressed.
No.
Also true.
I'm not impressed.
It was all donated to a charity. I gave it away. It was the right thing to do.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's noble.
Consider it my gift to the world,
That's noble of you. Yes. Thank you very much, Simon.
We do what we can.
Yeah.
We do what we can.
We do what we can.
We all do what we can. So Gondo, like, do you strongly believe that like truly good people are that rare?
Does Tanghus remember
shit.
what he was saying?
Oh yeah.
I think we are far beyond the relevancy of
Okay.
whatever I had to say, either.
All right.
So I think it's best,
if it comes up,
best
just
to
like
continue down the slippery
If you
slope
remember,
of
it's
yapping.
okay.
No, it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it was going to be one of the cases where we're going to like do a backflip back into a conversation and start it all over again. I think it's better because I have heard the viewer's voice their concerns about us yapping. So it might be better that we keep the flow.
Let me ask my boss.
I have read every.
Simon, do we have a problem with yapping, Simon? You can ask your boss. You can ask your boss Tanghus if you've heard that.
No.
And Tanghus can ask his boss. James.
I'll ask the real boss, Ham.
Yeah.
Hammy cat. Hey, buddy.
Oh God.
Are we yapping? He said, yeah. He's quite upset.
Okay,
Yeah.
he doesn't like yapping.
Yeah,
I
he just
see.
confirmed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, got you, Ham. Don't worry. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Simon. with what
Speaking of that, do you have a chat? I want to look at chat. Do you have a chat going on or something like that?
No, this
Nope.
isn't live. We get to
This
edit
isn't
this
live.
after the. We get to edit it after
Awesome.
the fact. That way, like when
That's
I say like
amazing.
live on stream, that what I truly think,
Perfect. Amazing.
nobody on the actual end recording is going to hear that.
Nice. Okay, that's amazing.
The lip readers out there, please say what he
Please,
said.
yeah.
But it's
Oh
actually-
God,
the
that one
chat
was
is this.
great. That one was great.
Oh shit.
Sorry, shit.
Simon.
I had a
I cut you
question.
off.
Oh, okay. So Gondo,
What's up?
like, do you truly believe that like truly good people are that rare? Because I don't think they are. I've met a
What's
lot
truly
of really
Simon,
like-
what is truly good?
somebody that their intentions that like drive them behind every decision is like always positive, always good. They always try to do the right thing.
Okay, so there's this
Like nobody is
there's this philosopher called Julia Saint, and she wrote a paper once that she called moral saints. So basically, the moral saint is someone that always acts under some code of moral, right? And she adopts the Kantian code of moral as the perfect one. Basically, the Kantian code of moral is the nerdy one. It's the one where you only do things when the thing that you're doing is good for the overall good, when everyone can do the thing. If the thing that you're doing can't be replicated by everyone, then it's not worth doing. You know where I'm getting? It's the nerdy
that seems
code of conduct.
counterintuitive.
No,
But okay.
it's like, okay, can Simon throw stuff away at the street? And you're like, hey, if everyone starts doing that,
Oh, you were talking
then
about bad things. I thought you were
it's
talking about
getting
good
bad.
things. Okay.
yeah. So what I'm saying is there's this code of conduct that is moral from this guy called Kant, and it's regarded in philosophy as the good guy code of conduct. Let's put it that way. It's very complicated, but it's the good guy code of conduct. And she's like, okay, let's adopt a moral saint as the guy that only lives by that code of conduct, the guy that only does things. And she arrives in the fact that, hey, you don't want that guy. He's a boring guy. He's a person that lives only not for himself, but for other people, which is very bad. He never develops himself as a person.
Yeah, but what you're describing is like an extremist. I'm talking about like a normal motherfucking good guy, that like
So that's
still
what
has
I'm
flaws.
saying. What I'm
Is still
getting
a real
at is that
person.
when you're saying a good guy or a very good person, you're always dealing in a gray area.
Yeah, of course. But we all
Because
know what we're talking
the
about.
100% is, it's you don't want that. It's very boring to have that person and that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. Like we're not like when I
Yes,
say
there are very good people in the world. Listen, I think I'm a good person. I try not to be an
are.
asshole. That's it. And I think everyone in this podcast is like that. We just try to live our lives the best what we can with hurting the less people along the way,
there you go. Yeah.
But the matter of fact is that when push comes to shove and you're putting, and life has those, and you're put between your own good and the greater good, more often than not, I go, fuck that. Because people in my position, people would just do it the best way that they can for themselves. So I just go, hey, I have to protect myself. I have to do what's good for me, And that's everyone. Everyone has that self-preservation. Everyone, most of the times, I believe, does things that are better for their own good than the greater one, which is fine. But if you say, okay, has anyone ever lived only for the greater good? I guess.
No,
You
I
know,
mean that's pushing it way too far. I don't know. I think there's good people all around. I think that there's a decent amount of good people. I think that the foundational structures when it comes to communication and education is what's like really like driving people apart and establishing a lot of hate in the world. But like deep down, like the vast majority of people, Gondo, if you sit and you talk to them, like deep down inside, they're not rotten people, you know?
well,
There's
that's what I
good.
want to get at. The most people are good in the sense that they just want to live life. Yes, of course, indeed. What I actually think are saying is there are a lot less bad people than we generally think they are. Yes, indeed. But the matter of fact is that I'm highly skeptical of how good people are, in the sense that being good is just humanity. The average is very low. The average in humanity is very low. Even though people try to live their lives, that kind of thing, they still try to do things for themselves. They still try to do things to get the best out of life for themselves, and most of the times in detriment of someone else. It's life.
I don't
It's how
know.
things work.
I think that's a symptom of like how the world truly is, and the fact that like if we consider the average person across the planet, the average person like fights to survive, works to stay alive, and is not comfortable as they should be. And I think removing that from the equation and considering somebody that is at that level where they are comfortable, you see them open up a lot more. You see them be a lot more cognizant of everybody around them. You see them, you know, take others into consideration a lot more and care about causes and stuff like that. You like what I'm talking about sounds like very stereotypically middle class, and there's a reason why that is. You know, I think that sure, what you're talking about, you know, people do what's best for them. When you don't have a choice, I don't think you can be held responsible for that. Unless
Ah,
obviously you go super far, but you know what I mean. Like
well,
if
Simon,
at the
you
end
know,
of the month I don't have a place to live, but I have to go like do a sketchy thing for work that, you know, I know morally is wrong, but it's going to pay me, so, you know, I have a place that my family can like stay at. I know which decision I'm making, and I consider myself a person that is morally good.
That's also
well,
another thing is the definition of good is the definition of like the size of a collective. And what is the goal of the collective of the community you're part of?
Yep.
So a lot of it is saying, as you're saying here, you are good because you are good. You are helping. You are sustaining your family. You're sustaining your community. You are helping the local thing. Everything here in a broader sense in the whole world, because basically now we have a lot of like sub-fragmented communities building up to large communities, large and larger collectives, and the whole collective as a whole, basically you can't fight the gigantic issues within the world. Like, you can't save the world effectively. It's gone. It's the wave is too large at this point. It's formed by too many collectives. You can work from the bottom. You can do what you can in your local like community. Do say keyboard hobby. You can do a difference for someone there. You can do a difference for your family by providing for them, doing the good thing there, even if it is the bad thing. But again, a good and bad is also a social structure. Like, what is defined as good now isn't everything wasn't really defined as good. Like, go back 100 years or 200 years. So
yeah, there's also that.
I mean, I don't know. That's just so hopeless.
I think
You get
that
me? Because like
I do
we
agree with you.
yeah, at the end of the day, the discussion comes down to, you know, would you die for the greater good, you know, that kind of thing, you know. So
I
if
mean,
you,
it's not even. It's I no. I don't think that's true. Because like we have
no,
people
it
all over the
is,
world
because
that we've elected in one way or
ultimately,
another.
let's take the scenario that you've described. So hey, let's say that I work in a fucked up industry. Myself, in my head, I have the idea of the defense industry, right? So for instance, for a couple of months,
Yeah.
I was in the Military Institute for Engineering here in Brazil. And I didn't like that because I was very placed with that more contradiction of I have friends that still work in defense. They work making bombs. And I'm like, how can you, rationalize the fact that you're making stuff that explodes things and people, and you just come home and, kiss your wife goodnight or something like that. And people just like, that's just my job. So can I say that those people are bad? That they're bad people? No, I can't. It's difficult. Intuitively speaking, they're good people. They pay the taxes. They do the things. They have their kids. They live their life. But if taking into its last consequences, if they said, okay, I'm not gonna work this because I have some problematic with this line of work, then every single line of work is going to have the problem, isn't it? You can find some kind of more fault with it because that's
Yeah.
just how things work.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, like everything is in the grays. It's just we know the ballpark of like the range of the grays we're talking about.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
in any case, do I think that there are good people in the world? Sure, yes, there are good people in the world. Most people just want to live their lives and do the things. But good doesn't actually mean Jesus level good, I guess. It doesn't mean some religious figure good. It just means that
No.
people are living their lives and trying not to hurt others while they do it. That's it. That's as good as it gets when it comes down
Well,
to
no,
humanity.
trying to help others is
Well,
where
that's
it
the
aims.
other step. Actual people that have actually tried to help other people, those are rare. I've done a lot of social working, and believe me, those are very rare, like insanely rare.
When I say help others, like even the little things count. Like I think throughout my life, all the people that have helped me in one way or another, and those were people that were out there and willing to help others. I'm always out there willing to help others. I don't think it's that rare. Like it doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be like a big thing,
It is, Simon. It's very rare, especially when the thing that you're doing is not going. It doesn't represent any gain to you.
It's also. Continue.
No, what I'm
Thank you.
saying is it's very rare to have someone that helps other people that goes out of their own way to help people. That is very difficult, like insanely difficult. Maybe you were blessed enough to have contact with a lot of those, but if you take a look at like percentages,
I mean, but if you think throughout your life, like you're gonna have like at least like 5, 10 like fucking solid people that have really helped you out with something major, and maybe like 100, 200 that have helped you out in like minor ways, right? Like it's not a rare occurrence to like have somebody help you out with something.
Okay, so what's helping out? I'm sorry, man. Go on.
No, it's fine. No, that's fine. I keep breaking up here, but it's really interesting here. But honestly, to do the better, to work for the greater good, requires that your own home is swept and cleaned out, which means that depending on where you are in the world, like the definition of like how much good can you do, like how big of a good task can you do. That's why typically you will see this is more of a discussion in the Western world, where basically people aren't fighting to get a decent meal for the day or a roof over their head. Like once you settle in, as you say earlier, the middle class, this is where you start having these existential, because people now have money, now they are starting to look at either. This is to do good requires that you have a surplus of energy, basically.
Yeah.
But
yeah, of course.
That's not everywhere in the world. So it depends on like what's the definition of good and what's the definition of like, have you already fought your own fights?
Yep.
Like a holistic mindset is not something that's like everyone has, because typically if you're fighting just like at the bottom of a chain and you're just looking at the small issues you have below you, you can't really step up and look at the larger issues. But typically, say, if you have a roof over your head, if you have a meal, if your family's provided for, if you have healthcare, etc., then you are further up the ladder and you have a grander overview of like what is bad in the world. And one of the big things of social media is that now everyone's exposed to like what's everything that's fucking wrong in the world. Because honestly, everything's been fucked up for years.
Yeah, I think one of the
now
few
people
things,
are aware.
like one of the few things that's helped me, like I guess, keep my sanity over like the past like 10 years. It's like I haven't been exposed to social media like everybody else. I was I was off Facebook in 2008. I was done, and like I never really picked up anything. Like, I guess YouTube, but I don't consider that a social media platform. You'll watch a video or make a video. Maybe you'll reply to some comments, but that's not social media, so. And I never really read news either. So, like, I'd read financial news, so I know, like, if it matters, it affected the economy, so I'll fucking read that. And if it didn't matter, then I don't care. And that was it. And I don't know. Has social media just? I know the answer to this. Everybody is fucking brain rot now from TikTok. Like, I thank God that me and Kate are not like addicted to social media.
It definitely depends because I also am similar. The only social media things that I have are brands, like the Good Keyboard Friend podcast, Instagram, Hubert the Mad Keyboard, Instagram. I don't have
you're on the creator side of all these platforms.
No personal social media whatsoever.
Yeah, like same for me. Like, I have a Facebook account that I use to manage the back end of the companies that I consult for. That's it. It's not even my legal name. So
I think it is. I don't know. I think there's a lot less people like that nowadays. Like for me, I text. And I still have a landline. I still have a fucking landline. I know all my friends' numbers. If someone wants to meet up, just call me or text me.
I don't know all of my own numbers.
69966.
I know. Fuck. Okay, wait. I have 4 numbers on these 2 phones.
Work, personal, and
why?
Okay, so this one has my Dubai number. I know that one, and it has my Wyoming number. I know that one. So I know these 2 numbers.
Why do
this
you have
one,
a Dubai number and a Wyoming number?
because my Dubai number is the number that I like used in Dubai, and I still use it because like I consult for companies in Dubai. That's like primarily what I do for work right now. And my Wyoming number, Wyoming is where Black Simon TV LLC is registered, and I picked up a phone number just so I have it for like in case I need a phone number or anything for company stuff, legal stuff. Like when I set up Stripe, they needed a phone number, for example.
Okay.
Then on this one, I have my mega secure line that ends in 6969. So I know that one.
We know what goes on in that line. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's the one that's linked to my signal. That's okay. I'm not gonna say things that are gonna compromise my security.
No.
And then I have a local 507 number for my new company on this, and I don't know that number at all. Yeah, so I don't know one of my 4 numbers.
Well,
Simon, you should come to Brazil and get a Brazilian number.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't need to come to Brazil. Oh no, I do. I think it's one of those countries where like you need to be there to actually get a number, even for voice over IP.
Hey, if Kate wants to
work in voice over IP, I remember.
Kate wants to go to Japan, just bring her to the Japanese community down in Brazil, and you can meet Gondo at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
Kate would.
She would divorce you. Yeah.
No. I would befell a mysterious illness, and the whole time she'd be like, "You deserve this, you little bitch," and I'll be like, "I deserve this. I'm a little bitch." The whole time until I die.
Oh my God.
No, we're going to Japan and we're going to have a lovely fucking time. That's the plan. We're going to save up. It's going to be real nice.
I have a serious question.
Honeymoon.
There we go. Congrats. I have a serious question tangent for all of us. But before that, I want to ask Gondo, there's something that I've seen on YouTube. So I like fucking food that is, I'm not gonna say I like mukbang, but I like to see foods from other places and people enjoying those foods.
Okay.
Batata de Marechal,
yes.
For those of you that don't know, there is it a brand or a chain of French fries, like a French fry chain?
No, it's just one place. It's just
one place.
It's like a stall, isn't it? A big stall.
Can you explain it? Can you explain it?
So Batata de Marechal is basically a very famous fried potato stall in Rio. And you guys should absolutely look it up because it's insane.
Wait, what's the name? Batata is potato. What's the rest of it?
Marechal. I think it's the name of the neighborhood there. And let me send you that. And let me send you a video.
You want to share? You can share your screen.
Okay, let me look up the video and I can share the screen here.
It's so good, guys. For the audio listeners out there.
Why are you still listening on audio? Have you not seen the video versions of these podcasts? They are insane. The editing is like Michael Bay quality. We actually got Hans Zimmer to do the sound. How the fuck are you still not watching the video version of this? What is wrong with you people?
Yeah, people. Yeah.
Short sidetrack.
so here we go.
If you don't
Go
know
ahead,
how
go
to
ahead.
find the video version of this podcast, you go to hugemeatbox.com.
Legit.
That
It's
is
safe
the
for work.
actual link.
It's safe for work.
How do I share screen here? Let's see.
Share. Yeah.
You click
If you're
share
using
screen,
OBS,
click your phone?
I hope you're using OBS.
No, I'm not.
If you're using OBS, just ask
Oh.
Hubert for all the tips.
There's
We
a
learned this
share
earlier
button
today.
on the bottom, and then you can say screen. There you go.
Okay, you're seeing this, right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Look at those nudes. Oops.
Okay. No, no news today. So this is basically the Batata de Marechal. So this is a neighborhood in Rio. And this is the train station, metro station that they have. So it's like a stall. It's a huge potato stall. And it's not a chain. It's not a brand. It's just one stall that was made very famous by... It was already very famous in Rio, but then internet happened, and then it made them very famous, like, worldwide. So will you fucking look at that? So they
Oh my
have the
God.
potatoes, and inside they have... It's not salami.
Is it
Sausage
like
or
the
something?
spicy sausage? Isn't
Is
it?
there a name for that? It's a special kind of salami. I think in English you would call it pepperoni. I think that's what you would
Yes,
call
I
it.
love PP
Is it
running.
like the Portuguese one? It's like a short, stubby one.
Yeah, it's an industrialized version of it. We call it calabresa,
Yeah.
but it's
Ah,
kind
yeah.
of like pepperoni.
Ah.
So it's like, is it like stiffer than chorizo?
More ground up.
It's-
Oh, it's more ground up than chorizo.
Yeah, it's more ground up. I would say that it's kind of a grown-up sausage on steroids. Kind of like that.
What's that Middle Eastern one? It's kind of similar in texture to that.
It is.
Yeah.
So a little bit of salt. Not sure if you guys seen that, but you saw the guy pouring salt here, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. So just...
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah. So it's pretty nice. I've been there a couple times and it's awesome. But what really like takes your eyes is the size of the portions.
It's
So-
very. Yeah.
So basically what you're getting here is
PP.
the PP. So the PP is this very small. You know, that's why it's called
PP very small.
Yeah.
How much is that?
Because
20p.
it's pequena, média, grande. It's small, medium, and large. PMG. And for G, you generally say GG or XX. So we invented PP for very small,
Pequena.
which is ironic, right? So this is very small. This is 20 reais, which is, I would say, like a little bit less than $4, three
Oh my
something.
God. Yeah.
This is $5. This is $6, and this is $8. Right?
That's incredible.
And
It-
this is
oh
this.
my
I think this is the medium one. Like, take a look at that.
The medium one.
And then no. Take a look at that. And then he has the plastic bag. And then check this out.
No.
Oh my God.
By the way,
See,
there's
we're
a
talking
version-
about doing good in your local community.
Yes,
This is
there you
serving
go.
a
Yes,
medium size like
exactly.
this. This
There's
is
a ver-
doing good.
There's a version of this that he just puts cheddar cheese and this special kind of cream cheese that we like in Brazil called catupiry all over the place.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So this is Batata de Marechal. So this looks like a large one.
Yeah.
And it's huge.
Oh my God.
Basically, it's like kilograms and
God.
kilograms of French fries and that kind of thing. You are absolutely not able to eat this alone. I believe he also has chicken. Yeah, chicken, bacon, and pepperoni. Here's a portion of fried chicken. So that's the famous Batata de Marechal.
And I'll get to the serious segment real quick, but that's something that I want to specifically point out because, okay, yeah, you can say it's not healthy, but for people that don't have much money, that can feed your whole fucking family. And that's fucking awesome that he does that for the
I mean,
community.
for people that don't have much money, I'm sure that like they're baking at home and like, you know, doing bread and whatnot. It's super mega
Probably.
fucking cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what people generally don't understand about Brazil is that it's a little bit like this. You guys from outside, you have a little bit of observer bias in the sense that the Brazilians that you guys generally know are Brazilians that can actually interact with you. So, for instance, one huge, I would say kind of like a pedigree thing is English. So having a education in English is very difficult and generally reserved to wealthy people. So the people that can interact with, let's say, internationally are already people that have had that chance. So in general, people that have some means, right? Myself, I'm not exactly poor. I would say that I'm a lower middle class. And I'm very well educated. I have a PhD. So I'm not the best. How can I say this? I'm not the average Brazilian in that sense. The average Brazilian is very poor. Brazil is a very, very, very poor country.
Yep.
So when people come to here, you guys are generally appalled by the cost of living. But what you guys have to understand is that even though this looks cheap as hell, this is not cheap for Brazilian standards at all. So you guys say, okay, so
do you know like ballpark what like the average like take home salary is?
well, let's take a look at that. But I believe it's like $500 to $600 a month.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So take that into consideration, and this is $4. Like, this is still a treat.
Pretty much
I got
$600 a month. So that's the average salary. There's also the problem of we have a very weird like taxing system. So, for instance, cars, they have 100-something% tax load of them. So cars cost twice as much.
Importing things into Brazil, like as a whole,
it's
is the
insanely
biggest
difficult.
pain in the ass.
It's insanely difficult.
So, like, the Brazilian community struggles really hard to like get keyboard parts, keyboard stuff.
Still does.
It's real hard to not get fucked.
It's pretty difficult. So this here, the Batata de Marechal, for instance, it is something that you would take your family out on a weekend.
Yeah.
It's like an event. Even though it's $8, and I understand that I wouldn't say they're cheap, but it's very cheap in comparison. This is a big thing. This is very important. So yeah, I know that it sounds grim, but that's the way it is, right? Other things that are appalling to people when they come here, like fast food, so like Subway and McDonald's and kind of thing. Generally, the people from the international community would think those are like cheap street food or something along those ways.
Oh no, absolutely not. I've been in enough countries to know that like in poorer countries, McDonald's is like expensive.
Exactly.
Dude, McDonald's is expensive here in the US.
Yeah, it's so weird. When I was in Indonesia, my relatives took me to KFC. And here in the US, like KFC, that's like a fast food place. Over there in Indonesia, it's like a fucking delicacy.
Yep.
Like,
yes. Same thing here.
Yeah.
So the thing about Batata de Marechal is that it became a cultural phenomenon because of that. Every time one of those things pops up, it becomes this huge phenomenon because for us, eating out is something that's very special.
Yes.
So that explains a little bit why it has become so popular. And of course, the whole aesthetics, because you can see that this is street food.
Yeah.
So to think that this huge thing is made on the street, and the size of the portion, so it's everything very iconic. Let's put it that way.
Fuck yeah.
And it's pretty nice. There are a couple of videos online about this.
I forgot we're doing a podcast.
Yeah. So there's this one in English. And
that's the one I watched. Yep.
Yeah. So they explain how they do it. So you can see that it's not a huge place at all. Here, see? Like it's then again, it's a stall.
Yeah.
And so like he has like a couple tons of potatoes a day that he has to go through and that kind of thing. It's pretty interesting.
There's something in almost every place, but something that really stuck out to me too.
Nice.
A YouTube channel called Rate My Takeaway in the UK. The guy's name is Danny, and he goes to different takeaway places to rate them. And there's one that was like a super cheap fish and chips place. And when you think of fish and chips in the UK, it's prices have skyrocketed and things like that.
Fish.
But they keep the prices super low for the community. It's not like the best quality fish and chips, but it's really nice when you see businesses like that try and have affordable prices for the community.
It is
when they can.
It is.
So
Yeah. I mean,
but
if I'm not mistaken, there's like a well-known like Michelin star chef that was basically like, no, fuck you guys, gave away all the stars and went into like making a restaurant with like actual affordable food for people.
yeah. But so here my segue here. This is not the sponsor segue or anything. This is like
Hugh,
it's Gondo.
you're gonna kill me one of these days with those segues. For the record, like the previous episode that we recorded last night is so fresh in my mind that like I thought we already did the good keyboard friend of the week, and then I looked up for how long we've been recording. I'm like, wait, no, we didn't. That was with another guy. All these podcasts are just becoming one long podcast for me. Please set me free.
I got him last night, Gondo, with a segue. So
Okay.
but yeah, so this is in spirit of not only the good keyboard friends, us four, and James, and everybody that watches, but the community, in spirit of, shout James, in spirit of Father's Day, in the States here, today's Father's Day.
Nice.
But I want to talk about role models, and this is why. This
Okay.
might be helpful when it comes to, the social media and things like that. But I just want to share a little bit of my own story, and I want to ask the three of you to share a little bit of your own stories. Just think of the topic role models while I go through this long rambling segment, okay? So the reason why I wanted to bring this up specifically, the specific instance or the specific tangent, is I knew Gondo was going to be on today. He's a huge fitness guy. That is the hobby that I'm most passionate about, and the hobby that I got my major in, kinesiology, exercise science.
Nice.
But when I was, so I was born in Indonesia, and then at 5 or 6, I moved to Utah. And when you're a kid, at least for the people around where I lived, you didn't really think much about exercising back then. It was literally just running around, playing with your friends, playing soccer, football, baseball. You're just running around, playing on the jungle gym, having fucking a ton of fun. Back then, it wasn't so much like, let's get your 8-9-year-old into a fitness program. Just let them be kids,
Okay.
That changed when I moved to Iowa because my dad got a new job. I had to run the mile for the first time in my entire life. And maybe I had run a mile when playing football, basketball, whatever, when I was a kid. But I never actually ran around the track. And holy fuck, 6th grade, I think my 1-minute mile was like 23 minutes. Because I was a roly-poly boy.
That's normal. I'm this first time, sure.
Oh my God. I was the last one. Everybody was back in class and I was still like doing my mile. And the instructor was like, let's hurry up. But what I'm trying to get at is, as a young boy, as a young man, going into a new environment, moving schools, and then having something like fitness not really be an aspect of your life until it had to be. It's you're not only fighting growing up in middle school, but you're also fighting trying to fit in, fighting trying to not get made fun of because you were out of shape. But something that really made a huge impact on my life was working out. And the reason why it made an impact on my life is because I had great role models in my friends. It was a whole communal aspect to it. So every day after school, after middle school, we would go to the local YMCA, which is a very low-cost gym in the United States. If you're a senior, you can have free YMCA memberships. Or if you're in poverty, the YMCA membership rates are very low. And they had some deal with the school where school kids could go to the YMCA and they could just exercise after school. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, I know. Maybe there's still something like that nowadays, but I don't know. But so year after year, I played a lot of sports: basketball, soccer, football, track and field. I was a jock, but the thing that I loved the most was the exercise part of it, because there was always an exercise aspect, either having to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out with the team before school, or working out after, before you go to your actual practices and things like that. And for me, the thing that was most fun was the communal aspect. All my friends were doing it. They may not have seen themselves as role models, but like it kept me out of trouble. It got me something to do. it was just fucking amazing. And that carried through my whole life. Gondo was saying how it doesn't matter how you're feeling when you have 450 pounds on your back. If you don't lock in, you're fucked. Like, you're going to snap your shit up. Exercising, especially with weights, it really helps you push aside all the distractions that's going on in your life. Maybe you lost a loved one, a pet. Maybe you broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend. You're going through some shit. It doesn't have to be exercise, but to me, to Gondo, and for many other people, exercise was an outlet to kind of not literally not kill yourself, like literally not submit to depression. And when I think about all the communities out there and all the young men and women, boys and girls, some of them may not have role models or communities or outlets like that. And it's kind of sad. On this Father's Day, I want to, later on when we do the Good Keyboard Friend of the Week, I want to honor all the fathers out there, whether they be actual fathers, biological fathers, stepfathers, people that aren't fathers but play that father role. It's really important in a young man's life and a young girl's life, a young person's life, to have really good role models, because that really sets them on the correct path in life. I kind of want to hear your stories about maybe communities or role models that you've come across that may not get the recognition they deserve. Maybe a good story about finding a hobby that really made a good impact, or how you found a role model from that hobby. Just share some stories or some people that you would like to shout out.
Before that, like, I've been wanting to like get back in shape, to like finally like go to a gym again.
Yeah.
Like, my back has been very, very bad for quite a while. So like, my plan is like in the next few months, go into the doctor, try and figure out like what's the plan. Is there something we can do for pain management? And then I want to like go to a gym, swim daily if I can, because that's like amazing for my back. Like, I've really, really been slacking health wise, and over the last 10 or 11 years, I've just let my body go to shit, and it's real, real bad. It'll be nice to do it again. Like, I think I like have the motivation, like I want to do it, and now I kind of can in like a month.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. Some people are very good with working out solo, and that's totally fine. Some people are very good working out with a training partner or a community. That's very good as well.
I think you just need to find something that, like, no matter what, you can always do on your own. You need to find that one thing. Like, I can walk on a treadmill. I'm not allowed to run with my back, so I can walk on a treadmill. I can do that solo. Swimming, I haven't swam in a long ass time, so it's mostly just been walking, and I'm okay with that. You throw on some music, you're chilling,
Yeah. Even fucking pickleball. I went on a rant about pickleball last night, but if that floats your boat, go for it. But yeah, guys, I just want to open it up to you three. If you want to talk about role models in general, how they can affect young people's lives, why they're important, maybe a community that you found.
I mean, as weird as it seems, I'm the guy that people come to with like major life decisions and like major problems, and this has been the case since I was like 14 years old. Like adults, when I was 14, working full time, I had a coworker that was going through some marriage shit. And dude was like 45, and he came to me for advice, and we sat down, we talked about it logically, and we figured out the whole situation, and I gave him a piece of advice, and he listened to it. Starting then, like always, I'm always the fucking guy. People find me. But, there are people that to this day that, I've now left behind in Dubai that would and continue to like reach out to me for like advice, for, career advice, life advice, stuff like that. Younger people, not younger people. One of the guys is a little older, Zulfikar, if you ever find this podcast, what's up, dude? But he comes to me for like business advice, and he wants to make a major decision, like in terms of like career wise, where he wants to go. And it's nice to be able to just I don't know, reach out to somebody and get feedback. Sometimes you just need to listen to your self-talk. If you are the person playing the role model, like it doesn't need to be this big grandiose thing. Sometimes somebody just needs to figure something out on their own, and anybody's capable of doing that. Anybody can sit there and just do the bare minimum of like trying to figure something out. I don't know. Also, Cash, if you find this podcast, I hope you're doing well.
Fuck yeah. Gondo or Tanghus, you have some thoughts just about role models in general, how they can help, and any specific ones that you want to give recognition to? It doesn't have to be the good keyboard friend of the week, obviously. We're not there yet, but yeah. And again, real quick, Tanghus, I love what you said a couple podcasts ago with change starts locally. And again, what Simon said, like change doesn't have to be some huge thing. Do something small. You never know how big of an impact that makes on someone.
That's actually, I'll jump into it. That's actually something I learned from one of my big role models, one of my big heroes, which was my grandfather. He didn't really have much. He was a dairy farmer back when dairy farming was still going from being a small farm to industrializing that we saw, especially in the early 90s. That's when right at the tail end. Like somehow this man, like born like in a deeply conservative part of Denmark, like he still had a mindset that was quite modern. Even today, like his upbringing, basically what I see, what he brought, the message he brought to my mum, which is that once I also got, is basically like it's, I would say, classical feminism in the good way. Like not we see the more misogynist way, but basically looking at the equality of people, the liberty of people, and like if people have the means, they will do good. And this is one of the messages, many messages, like he had this, like he had a very, for someone in his position, like he really had like this larger than life view, almost holistic view on things at large. One thing I remember as a kid I didn't really understand later, but I saw years later, was him in the early 90s when we were industrializing farming, basically going out and, as an example, like basically he was getting interviewed in the media, basically like calling out and saying like this is killing essentially what is the structure and the backbone of the what has been of the modern Denmark, which is a romanticized picture that exists of farming here, at least, is that this like the small farmer, but the small farmer died 40 years ago, basically here.
I mean, that's kind of the case everywhere else.
Everywhere, this like this, they were dumping the milk prices insanely, like in the 90s here. But he always had this larger than life, and like this, basically, like the mindset is that everything will do good if they have the means and the capability to do so. But we will first and foremost look after themselves. And all change happens locally. And he was a big figure to me, like one of my big heroes. I remember as a kid growing up and like following him around like when he woke up early in the morning and like going out to the fucking Jersey cows outside. It's like, that's pretty... And like, I've met a lot of people like through life that's been like, has really done a change. Like, I had a deep dive myself a couple of years ago, basically, which is the reason why I came back into this hobby. Was basically I completely dumped and flunked, but like I had a manager at the time, like I was in a real shitty company, but like I had this one manager and like she was able to like help me immensely during this period, just like formalizing everything else, because like she'd been in the same situation, like no one in the company had looked out for her. And like she just refused to let like this keep going like this. And when like I dumped because the company was horrible, but she helped me massively, and like she had no benefit like of helping me. Like it wasn't her job. She wasn't even my manager. Like she was basically just our economy department. But some people just like refuse to accept the status quo. And this is something that's helped me immensely in my world, in my position in the world. And I find this something that brought on, because this is one thing I do in my life is really, I do try to take this more holistic view and approach and like really do think of like the whole chain. But I don't expect anyone else to do it. But this is also the community basically that helped me out. Like this is, when I buy, say, vintage boards, I tend to buy the shitty ones. Basically, first of all, because they're cheap. And I'm cheap. But secondly, also, there is something therapeutic about like taking like a real scrunchy, like real scrubby keyboard and like disassembling it, sitting in peace and quiet, watch an angry man like in the middle of a desert shouting at keyboards. And then you're just sitting there with your stupid fucking Model F and trying to like get it cleaned, just scrubbing away those stupid ass keycaps. But there's something deeply therapeutic about this. Like this community has helped me immensely. I started out very early here, but I later dipped. And I kind of like needed something smaller scale to like tinker, take the mind off things. And like, I see a lot of good in this community. Like, even if it is shit, but like, I think it's really good what we see now because it's getting back to how it was before the pandemic, like the whole boom.
Yeah, before
like,
everybody was okay fucking being like, yeah, $650 aluminum rectangle. Yep.
Yeah, like
blocker,
like people say we have like
it's still
so
fun,
many
guys.
say the
Please
hobby
buy
is
$600
authenticity
aluminum
card.
keyboards, please.
Fuck that. Like,
Gondo. You remember that
don't
weird...
interrupt the man. He's saying something very
Oh
hard.
no, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's fine.
He's
I'm
opening
fine.
his heart here. Let him continue, please. It was very interesting what he was saying. Fuck you, Simon.
My
Come on.
bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys.
No, but it is a point. It is a good point. Like people say the hobby is dead. Like it's not dead. I mean, it's just normalizing. It's still normal.
It's just I've been in this hobby since 2013.
Same.
I've heard that this hobby is dead for like ever since. In 2013, we were typing in OTD, and people were like, "Yeah, this is probably the last keyboard that we're gonna make." You know, so I think it was the koala. That someone made like a huge comment, like, "This is probably the last one, guys. This is not gonna last long. It was good what lasted." I've been hearing that all of this long, 12 years. The hobby's dead. The hobby's gonna die, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is true. Like it's
hobby's dead, guys. I literally have a pile of keyboards I need to review that if I stacked it up fully, it would be taller than me right now. I am so fucked. Hobby's dead.
That hobby.
But people are so focused on, because a lot of people now are just like so focused on this whole thing. It's like, it's not what it was because they joined on the boom. But if you look at like in the larger picture, it's fine. It's great. Like it's never been.
It could be better. It could be better. Like, TGR Sam could be living in my walls, fucking designing fucking triangular keyboards just for me. Oh, I want that. That would be peak hobby for me. But no, we're in a good place. Like, it'd be nice to still have a lot of the major players that have like withdrawn. They can always come back. They can always come back and just fucking
probably
slap out a banger.
Yes, shout out Roastery Rama. Shout out
Yep,
Static.
absolutely.
Please come back.
I would love a fucking Roastery, bro.
Oh shit!
I owned a numbered 280S. They were numbered out of 30. I had unit 69 out of 30.
No way.
Yes. And it was in blue gray, fucking gorgeous board. And the day I went to build it, I scratched it a little tiny bit on the right bezel.
Oh no.
I mean, I don't own it anymore. Somebody bought it, but like, I was so fucking upset.
Shit.
And it was a nice board, but it was so nice. I didn't want to like ruin it. Yeah. But I already ruined it.
Fuck. Gondo, I want to give it back to you for the role model.
The role models, they are such a weird thing, aren't they? Like I could say some very famous person is a role model, but I'm with Tanghus here. Change, it's local. It's very rare. Was there anyone that like broke humanity and made humanity different? Just a single person? No, there was not. Every single one, every single person that made a difference and that we hear all throughout history, they made local changes. They were local people that just wanted the benefit of a certain local community, right?
Or anything that
Um,
got large enough, like the civil rights movement, the Black Lives Matter protest, stuff like that.
exactly.
Like it started
So-
The
local, but it
cooperatives.
got large enough. But it all began local.
Let's go for the cliches, right? So like Jesus Christ. In essence, Jesus Christ was a revolutionary in his small state, in his small city of Bethlehem, and then eventually it gotten big, but it was way after he was gone, right? Gandhi, the guy that made he just wanted better livelihoods for his community. So every single time, then again, the cliches, the huge guys. Okay, some people have reservations against Gandhi because he also did some weird things. Every single revolutionary is going to have a different thing. Karl Marx, Che Guevara, those guys. Okay,
Mandela, they all have something.
Mandela, right? Everyone has reservations against those guys, and they're all valid. What I'm saying is the big guys that changed and echoed throughout history had made local changes, and then it gotten big as a movement. But they made something that was larger than they were. So my role models, in my head I have three. It's always weird to choose some because someone is gonna get upset because of this. But the ones that I have in my head are my parents. Because my parents are genuinely better people than I am. It's weird to say that. I wasn't able to replicate the humane quality that they have.
You got to
My
work on that.
No,
Dude, you
it's
got to
like
work
this.
on that.
No, the bar is very high. You have no idea because like
I know, but you like that's what they want. Every single fucking parent wants their child to like be better than him, to be better than them. You got to fucking work on it for them, not for yourself.
I'm trying to do stuff as I can, but every person is different.
Also, being
Yeah, I
the
know.
devil's advocate here,
My
no one is
parents-
saying he isn't better. It's his view.
My parents were born into famine that really shapes you, so that shit changes you as a person. I didn't have that, graciously, I didn't have that difficulty in my life, a little bit, but I didn't have that difficulty in my life, which is good. But then the kind of character that molds is different, right? Yeah, because you understand a little bit more about life once you go through that. So it's not as simple as parents want their children to be better. It's a little bit more complicated than that. Anyways, my parents, awesome people. And then again, I know this is insanely biased because then again, I'm the son, but sometimes I see my mom and my dad doing things. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do that. That's awesome. From the professional side too, I got a lot from my parents. And I had a huge role model in my life. That was my uncle. So I had this uncle, the brother of my mom, Uncle Marcus, who got me into electronics. And such an amazing person. This guy, he never asked for anything from anyone. He just lived his life. He was trying to go through, I wouldn't say a difficult life, but he had his challenges. An amazing person, an awesome guy. We lost him very early. I was devastated when it happened. As a matter of fact, the flag here, the Iron Maiden flag, was his originally. He got me into music, into metal and rock and that kind of thing. And the last one is my advisor. So my PhD advisor was a guy that probably saved my career. Also someone that's very it's clear how he does things towards someone's benefit. He's a very, I wouldn't say that he's old, but the way that it works in academia is you get fucked until you have a PhD, very low salaries. Once you have a PhD, you go to a postdoc, and then you start getting kind of well paid. But the problem with postdocs is that those are timed contracts. So it's just 1 or 2 years and then you're done. So it's kind of cruel, right? You have to keep job hopping. And generally, you have to change countries all the while. It's very difficult to keep in the same place all of the time until you get what we call tenure, right? Until you become a professor. So most universities have what we call tenure, which is basically you are a postdoc or a senior researcher in that university for like 5 or 6 years, and then they get you tenure. Once you get tenure, then you're kind of protected. It's very difficult to fire someone once they're tenured. But that doesn't stop there. Most universities, once you're tenured, you start an associate professor. And then you do like you publish and you work your ass off, and eventually maybe you get what we call full professor. Once you get to full professor, that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Generally, those are the highest salaries. They are the oldest guys. They have the most funding. So once you get to full professorship, you kind of settle. Let's put it that way.
And how far are you from that?
I have finished my PhD. So
no, but like, are we talking like 15 years? Or are we talking 25? Like, how far out is it?
Full professorship.
Yep.
Yeah.
20 years, 30 years.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn.
So the cruel thing about academia is that you are evaluated, like hardly evaluated, your entire life. And if you don't go through those steps, it's like do or die. It's like you don't get a job. It's as simple as that, right? Once you get tenure, then it gets easier. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more difficult, actually, a lot more difficult, for you to get fired and that kind of thing. So staff at university generally have, faculty at university generally has, some sort of stability. But you still have ways more to go because once you're an associate professor, you have to write grants, you have to have funding because you need students, and then you're at all steps of the process, you are being evaluated, and you have to keep searching for it. And my professor, he's a full professor, so he's pretty much at the top of the food chain here. And if he wanted, he could just have students do the papers for him. He could just have people work, quote unquote, for him, because that's how professors publish. Once you get to professorship, publishing things gets a lot more difficult because you have to give classes. Generally, you're involved a little bit with bureaucracy at the university. So you go to like committees and you're like chairs of certain committees. Sometimes you have organizations, like in my case, we had the IEEE, which is a huge international organization of engineering, and most of the professors are also involved in that. So I have less and less time to do actually hard research. And the way that you get involved with that is with your students. So you get into a little bit of more of a managerial way. So might as well just have the students do it and you just manage them, right? No, that dude really, really, really goes out of his way to help, and do things. And that was I was very fortunate to be involved with that person because in general, professors at university are very authoritative. They're very selfish. It's just a deal of the trade, and not the case here. So yeah, that guy, he's surely a role model. He's surely one of those guys that you look like and say, hey, what would Louise, my professor, do? That kind of thing, right? So
Yeah.
I think that for me, role models, as in people you think of when hardships come, those 4 people: my parents, my uncle, and my professor. Those are 3 guys.
That's huge.
Fuck yeah.
I would just like to say, Simon, you got him. He admitted they're good people.
Oh, I know. This entire podcast was Gondo being like, there are no good people, immediately proceeds to tell us about all the great people in his life.
I said that statistically they are very difficult to find. I found 4 of them.
There you go.
Yeah, but you found...
And 3 of them were family.
Yeah, but you found 4 amazing people. That's like the top. Then there's plenty like under that are still good, man. There's so much good. There's so much good. We have each other, Gondo. Shit.
It's really good.
I can fly now, so like shit. Like if you need help with something, you need more hands for fucking something, I'll fucking fly in. I'll help you out.
Dutch rudder?
I mean, if you want to get down and get some Batata de Marechal, that would be awesome.
Oh, yeah, fuck yes. I think I can most definitely eat the tiniest one. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
I can't even
not.
type this one. I need someone to share with on the PP.
You would almost get
No, I want the PPL to myself. I'm sorry.
Ah.
You guys can't have my PP.
Yeah.
See, this is why I knew that the Gondo episode was going to be fucking awesome. Like with many other episodes as well. But you think Gondo, like I have a fucking crude sense of humor. A lot of us as co-hosts have crude senses of humor, and we like to get guests on that also replicate that. But it's not
I mean,
all
it's
that we are.
fine. Everybody's
it
got
is-
different senses of
Yeah,
humor.
yeah. Gondo
know.
is a very thoughtful person, and
Yeah, it's fine. Like a lot of people like draw lines on like, oh, that's going too far. That's not going too
Yeah.
far. Listen, humor is humor. We never mean anything in a malicious way, and you know, it's very clear that is the case. So like, you know, if you think we go too far, like, don't take it out of context. You know, that's just like our opinions, man.
We basically brought Gondo on to raise the licks count of the whole podcast, and we succeeded.
can you take off your shirt, please, real quick?
No, thank
No.
you. It's cold here. We're in the winter, so it's very cold
Oh,
here. So
boy.
no, thank you. No shirtless Gondo for you.
My-
How?
Go ahead.
Okay, wait, how is winter in Brazil? Like, is there like snow? Does it just get real fuck off cold?
Brazil is a
Like,
huge place.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking
So like winter in Brazil is a
where the
very
people
broad
are.
spectrum, right?
where the people are, the ones that matter. So like remove the rainforest, remove the small villages. It's like what? Like I presume there are like 3-4 major cities in the country, right?
You do understand that those people matter too.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm talking about like what's the weather like, dude?
You know,
Explain it to
What's
me.
the weather like where you
the
live?
actual people,
Like
right?
what? Like outside? Just fucking explain it, dude. Calm your tits.
So if you check out Brazil on the northern and northeastern Brazil, it's insanely hot all throughout the year. So winter is just a little less hot. That's it.
Okay.
On the middle of Brazil, it gets a little bit cold-ish. You know,
Isn't the
Where
middle of
I
Brazil
am-
just like rainforest?
no.
They got
The
rid of that.
rainforest, as you know it, is like is like I would say the half of Brazil upwards,
Okay.
less than that
Oh.
even.
Yeah. Okay.
Then from the middle of Brazil to down, it changes a little bit because then you start getting out of the tropics. So where I am, I almost on the finishing of the Cancer tropic, I guess, and it gets pretty cold. Like we can get sub-zero temperatures in a couple weeks,
Wow.
especially in July. On the very southern of Brazil, almost in Uruguay and Argentina, you might have a couple days of snow. Yes. So it depends very specifically on where you are. So the most people numerically, Simon, that's how you say it, they are in São Paulo,
This fucking guy.
right?
Sure.
And so most people in Brazil, in São Paulo and Rio, which are the most populated cities, you would get a cold winter, but kind of like 10 degrees Celsius at most.
Okay, so like
Sometimes in the
jackets.
single digits. So yeah, maybe not even that, but it's not like.
Is it like rainy?
The summer is generally very rainy. Then again, it's called the rainforest for a reason. But in winter it's drier, right? So
Okay, so just
not
jacket, no
many.
boots, basically. You just stay warm.
Pretty much, it's pretty comfortable in some sense. Like we don't have heaters. That's not a thing here. Buildings don't have heaters. So most people in Brazil, they get this sensation that the winter in Brazil is very cruel and very cold because we don't have the heaters. Like once you go to Europe and maybe the USA and Canada, that kind of thing, it's much more cold. You got like snow and shit, but you don't feel it as cold because you have the whole infrastructure and the apparatus to deal with that. We don't have that here. So
Yeah, 10 is
sometimes
pretty
people just
cold.
need it.
If it's like 10 in the house, I'd be like real fucking cold.
So, there's also a psychological factor to that. We feel more the cold because we probably don't have the infrastructure to deal with all of that.
Fuck, feels bad.
I think it's also a bit of like the delta, because your delta is basically, your cold is basically at the 0 point, but your summer's also that warmer.
That also happens a
So-
lot. Yes, the summer is very hot. It's interesting. It's interesting, but for the most part, it's not like insanely cold. It's pretty okay. Like right now, I have a shirt and I have a window open, and it's fairly cold. It's
Oh,
chilly. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
So, it's pretty nice. Honestly, it's pretty nice.
Whoever had bets on episode 11 being the episode where we devolved to talking about the weather, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well,
Well,
my
you know.
my one and only keyboard related question, and this is because people have messaged me telling me to get someone that knows PCBs on because they have issues with PCBs.
Oh shit.
PCB design, for me,
How?
the fucking idiot. Any tips that you can give to people that
No,
are trying
actually,
to
you know what? Let's do this a smart way. Gondo, I'm going to ask you a series of like simple questions and try to give me like clear, concise answers that are as general and as helpful as you possibly can.
I'm gonna
I know.
try. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come
All
on.
right.
Get in.
So,
Try
a lot of people are like, I want to design a keyboard. I have no fucking idea where to start. Graphic design's not really my passion. What do I fucking do? Do I like start DMing manufacturers? Do I go on Alibaba? What do I do?
Well, let's the easiest way to start is with 3D printing, like by far. You can generally source that kind of thing locally if you don't actually own a 3D printer, which is a huge investment. If you want to get into keyboard design, having a 3D printer is golden because the thing is, once you get into a design stage, into drawings and that kind of thing, it takes time for you to learn how things look good and sound good and that kind of thing. Your first keyboard is going to be a shitty rectangle. It's as simple as that. If you've never
Dude, went
done
to your
something, you're
first
going to
keyboard.
suck at
Wait. How do I even have a first keyboard? How do I PCB? What the fuck?
Okay, so for
This
keyboards,
lad.
I think if you want to design the keyboard, it's a 3D printing, hands down. Once you get a 3D printed thing that you go, okay, this is nice. I think this is something that a broader public would like. Then you go start talking to manufacturers because then you start getting to the $1,000 mark for like prototypes and that kind of thing. So yeah, PCBs. Well, PCBs is a little bit different because you can't make PCBs a whole, right? You actually can, but don't. No bueno. If you have access to huge manufacturers, like the internet ones, then there is no other way to put it as start, you know? So we have very good tools in the internet. The first one is KiCad, which is the design software CAD that we generally use, which is free. It's open source. You can download it. It exists for pretty much all of the platforms, Windows, Linux, Mac. Pretty good resources are there. I have the Ekron project, which is a whole open source thing. You can download all the footprints, all the PCBs there, see how I've done them in KiCad and that kind of thing. And I would generally start with using a Pro Micro. Because one of the big leaps that people have is from using the Pro Micro to using the embedded microcontroller, right? The Pro Micro or one of those feather boards, really, the Black Pill or the Elite C or those things, they really make your life easier because you don't have to focus on the nitty-gritty details of the microcontrollers and you can just focus on the PCB, making the PCB with the switches and making things that fit, you know? In the past, we used to have these things called skeleton mounts, skeleton boards, like the Gherkin. I think LKB used to have those too. There was a Planck version of it, a Periodic version of it, which were just two PCBs and they were glued together by standoffs. And the top PCB was the actual electronics PCB, and the bottom PCB was just a bottom piece that you would put there.
And then you'd stick bump-ons on the bottom, and you got yourself a keyboard.
You got yourself a keyboard, and it's an awesome thing to do because then you don't have to worry about the case, right? Because that's the second part of it, because it's not only about designing the electronics, which is already very difficult. It's also about designing something that fits inside the mechanical constraints that you have. So if you're designing a PCB for a keyboard, you have to design a PCB with specific shape and outlines and sizes and that kind of thing.
Okay, Gondo.
So
I have question. My brain not so good.
Okay, let me just finish. Tell your brain to let me finish. And then, so the first thing that you do is you do a skeleton mount with a Pro Micro. That's how you start. You look at the Gherkin and see kind of how the Gherkin looks. You replicate that with some layout that you like. That's it. You're gonna make like 5 different PCBs before you make one that actually works. And yeah. Okay,
That's
Simon
pretty.
Brett, come.
That's pretty. Oh yes. Me no good design. How can I like? Let's
Me
say I
no
want to
good design.
pay.
Okay.
How do I pay Gondo to make me? Let's say theoretically, I have a 65% that's based off my favorite media, and there's a character in the media who is very iconic, and I want engravings of said character on this keyboard.
Like
And it's going to be a slightly special layout, but about a TKL form factor. Now, if I
Okay.
came to you and I just wanted to make one just for me and was like, hey, dude, if you're into this hentai that I'm into, you can also get one. What would that cost, like, the services? Like, so people have an idea of, like, what it would cost to get somebody like you. Because, like, you can do case design, and you're a goddamn good PCB designer as well.
Yeah, I've done the whole thing. I've done
It's like a lot of people have
very
asked me, and
complicated plates and cases and
it'd be nice to like have a number out there for like just an aluminum custom that's like a ballpark 65, but like it's got a custom PCB to give people an idea of like ballpark. This is what it's gonna fucking cost you just to fucking make one, but it'll get done.
So the thing is, in the past, I still do that kind of thing. For those one-off projects, I generally ask for very small fees to design those because it's just a simple PCB. You just want a microcontroller and switches. Then I wouldn't say it's easy, but I can do it in less time than the average product. So I ask for like $200 and I can make you a PCB, and then you pay for prototyping, right? Prototyping a PCB is probably gonna cost you like $150, $200 too.
That's
Um,
with assembly.
Everything, yeah. Then again, a
Sweet.
simple PCB, a pretty simple PCB is gonna cost you. So
No,
in the
I get
ballpark
you.
of
Like no RGB, no hot swap, nothing fucking stupid.
maybe with hot swap and RGB, you can also do that in simple fabs. It's gonna cost you a little bit more, but yeah, sure. Let's put it at the ballpark. So I would say in the $400 to $500 range, it can get you 5 PCBs. I think is the MOQ of the fab, right? Considering it's just one prototyping round, considering that you don't want to change anything or stuff like that.
Okay.
Currently, I'm not doing that because of time constraints. I'm involved with. I'm very happy to say that I'm involved with big players, so I have to devote my time for those guys, and support is a nightmare. So I'm tending generally to not do enough projects. Only in 2 situations. These days I only do one-offs in 2 situations. First, people that I've worked with before. So there's this designer they call Dark. Right, so Dark does very particular keyboards, and he does like 20 units. I'll make PCBs for him, sure. Then again, his PCBs are generally very simple, not even like RGBs. And the
dark
gist of
science.
yeah, and the gist of the of the PC of the keyboards is that they're very simple keyboards. They're oriented towards some theme. So I try to make the PCB in that theme. So the whole novelty of the PCBs is how they look and the characters and that kind of thing. Generally with those guys, I sell the PCBs myself through a drop shipping scheme on the fab. So I send prototypes to Dark. He tests the prototypes, and then the users of the keyboard buy directly from the fab. They send me the money. I give the money to the fab and with the address, and then the fab sends the PCBs directly to customers. I don't even
That's
touch
very
those
cool.
PCBs.
That's
It
very
is,
cool
and it
conceptually
helps a lot.
from a workflow perspective for you.
It is.
That's great.
And of course, I profit a little bit from those PCBs, not much, but
Yeah.
a little bit. And another situation that I will do it is to support a past project. So the Noxary keyboards were that. So Noxary Zondet overlooked a lot of the electronics, and a lot of those came with their own set of problems. The Valhalla was one of those that came with a huge problem.
Oh no. Fuck. I like the Valhalla.
No, it is a good keyboard. For all that it's
Yeah.
worth, he was an amazing keyboard designer. You know?
Yeah, I like a lot of his designs.
Well, not a good businessman, I suppose, but
Oh no, fucking. Well, it depends on like which side of the equation. He's either real good or real bad.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so the Valhalla had a problem with the PCBs. It had a manufacturing problem at the fab. The prototypes were fine, but then when the production units came, they had some issue with the reset. And then Roastery never bothered to solve it because people could solve it with a simple hardware modification. And then I made a Valhalla V2 at the request of people. I also make an Roastery 378 V2 PCB. To solve some problems that the old one had, which is already manufacturing. Actually, one of the GBs went. I did that for other projects too. That was a part of making updated PCBs for that. The Austin was one of those, and that kind of thing. So yeah, one-offs I generally tend to stray to not take. I'll try to be humble about it. Say, hey, I would love to, I just don't have the time. But if sometimes here and there when I have the time or I really like the project, I'm like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Like this one here, right? So this one is one that I just received, which is a Compact Ergo.
Hell yeah.
You
Shout out
guys are
Bowl.
fucking killing me with this shit.
Shout out Bowl.
Shout out Bull.
Where's everybody getting all these big ass beautiful Alices all of a sudden? Where's mine? What?
Well, that's the thing. I made it.
Why didn't I fucking see these?
So the artisan fell.
Oh no.
Where is it? I have no idea. The Kirby fell.
Simon, give him
Anyways.
your
So
Dr. Demento. tips.
sometimes people will come with me with amazing projects, like very fucking awesome projects, and I'll be like, okay, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Right? This one was like 4 years in the making. The first guy bailed, and then the second guy bailed, and then the third guy bailed, and then Bull decided to make it and make it a reality. Yeah.
Classic. The
But
most classic fucking project description of anything mechanical keyboards related I've ever heard in my life. It would only be more beautiful if like Bull fumbled the group by and then somebody completely unrelated stepped in to just run the whole fucking thing.
that was
Would be like
Bull.
mwah,
That was
bingo
actually
card. Oh, okay. So we got the whole bingo. We got bingo.
We got the bingo. Yeah, it was a bingo project. Yeah. There was
actually,
another
Gondo.
one that was the Evolve. So the Evolve was one of those. Nathan
Oh,
came to
yeah.
me and it's like, this is an amazing concept. I want to be a part of that. It was like, yeah, awesome. Gian was one of those. So Gian was in his very early keyboard making days, and he was having a problem sourcing Heine PCBs at the time. And he was like, I don't know how well this is gonna do. I don't know how much this is gonna sell. And I'm like, fuck that. I want to work with you. The project is amazing. And then I did it. And Gian was a very successful case at the end of the day, but it started as a what if, fucking
Fuck.
awesome.
He
I want to work with
probably
this Korean guy.
sold like 2,000 of those fucking PCBs, I'm sure.
It's probably more on the 15,000 mark. It was.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Yeah, Gian sold a lot of PCBs.
Yeah, there were a lot of fucking F1s and F2s, dude.
Yeah. Not only that, we made the PCBs to cater to the larger TKL audience. So those PCBs fit, I wouldn't say any, but most of them. So yeah, people have done insane shit with those PCBs, like sewing them off to make 75%.
Oh, wow.
That's
yeah.
great.
So the
Gondo,
Apollos and the Athenas, they were amazing PCBs. I'm very proud of them.
Before I forget, because I know I'm going to fucking forget, now that I'm moved, now that I'm in the US, now that I'm comfortable, I want to do the NWO-5000, which is the G80-5000. You remember how like the project is going to work, right? It's going to be open sourced on the day of group buy release. Like there will be an actual group buy. You're entitled to a group buy unit, but essentially none of us are making any fucking money until like once we like open source it, we'll have donation buttons for you and for the person doing the case design. That's going to be the whole fucking project if you're down for it.
Heck yeah, I was down the first day, let's do it.
All right, yep. This fucking year, we're doing like by end of year, I want ICs so finalized. I want prototypes. I want to be ready to go like group by like anytime in 2026 will be the idea.
Sure, let's fucking go. Let's do it.
Nice. Oh, I can't fucking wait for this.
I love your little messages on the Gian PCBs, like the Frog Mini with the little ribbit, and then I love your little quotes.
So the messages were the Easter eggs, as we call them, right?
Yeah.
I was oh man, it started from a very pitiful place, you know? Because when I started doing PCBs, I was a very young engineer undergrad. And, you know, when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you think you're the shit.
Yeah.
You know, and I had just gotten into the best university in the country. And I was very, very, very heartfelt that the case designers got all the praise. Because I was like, fucker just does a nice keyboard and a nice rectangle, and everyone thinks he's a fucking genius. And here I am busting my ass off to make nice electronics, and everyone shits about them. Like, fuck. So,
Down is the proletariat.
yeah, exactly. I was jealous. That's the word. I was jealous. This was jealousy. So I was like, how can I make the PCBs their own show? Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of thought in my PCBs, at least, a lot of thought goes into the aesthetics of it, you know, because there's this wow factor that comes into opening a PCB up and seeing, you know, how it is and that kind of thing. So that's where the Easter eggs came in, you know, so that people could find those little messages there of things. Generally, I put Easter eggs of things that went that happened, or certain things that people said during the development of that project.
Yeah, those are the fucking
know,
best. Just
you know?
random out of context shit that you're just like, yeah, we decided to add this
To add that,
dumb fucking shit in the upper engraving.
yeah, for
For
Geon, it was
memes.
actually that, you know. So I made the PCB, and I didn't have anything to put in there because Geon, I don't know if this is with me. I don't know if that's because Geon doesn't speak English. He said to me that English is a very hard language for him.
He's
But
gotten real fucking good.
He's gotten good, but at the
He's gotten
time he
real good.
wasn't. So our communication was very sparse.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I didn't have anything to put on the PCB, so I just put a caps lock ribbon. And he was like, that doesn't make sense because it's a fucking mini. So it's a small ribbon. And I thought that was fucking hilarious, you know?
Yeah.
That's how things generally go, you know, the details on the development of the project. And yeah, it's been nice. It's been successful because now the PCBs are their own thing. You know, the aesthetics and whatever it is you can read in the PCBs and how to make them. You can really see that some effort was put into just making them look good, which is you know what I always tell people, that when people ask me about keyboard PCBs, I'm always telling that, okay, so electronics wise, keyboard PCBs, we're not sending anything to Mars here, right? This is not the pinnacle of human technology. So electronics wise, they are fairly simple, even though some people may say, hey, it's very hard. Yes, I understand, but it's not a sophisticated device in and of itself. But the matter of fact is that with keyboards, we have a very unique chance that generally you don't see in other hobbies, which is the fact that people actually interact with electronics. Generally in other hobbies or in general life, you're never expected to interact with the electronics, are you? You just buy anything. So a cell phone or your any appliance at all, you just get the appliance and you use it. You're not supposed to, you know, assemble it. So I was taking a look at the time at the PC building community, and you can see that they really, really, really try to make those electronics very pretty, because you're interacting with them to the point where people, and this is very famous now, but it wasn't at the time, people display the electronics, right? We have computers with like whole windows so that you can see what's inside. And I was like, that would be awesome.
Wait, is mine backwards? Oh no, mine's actually forwards. I can see inside. God damn it. There's RGB on like the RAM and the GPU that I don't want to install the software to have to turn them off, because then the software's on my computer.
Such a disappointment, RGB, Simon.
I miss UV lights and PCs.
Sorry, what? What'd you say?
Such a disappointment, man. RGBs.
Oh, well, it was cheaper than the non-RGB, and this PC was a stream expense. So I had a fiduciary duty to buy the cheapest, best performing thing I could, and I did. And unfortunately, it had RGB. Also, the cooler has RGB. I do not like that.
Fiduciary.
Should have bought an Arctic.
I did. Oh no, I wanted to, and it wouldn't have shown up in time, so I had to go with a Corsair, whatever their biggest one is, and it's white with fucking RGB, but it was cheaper and it doesn't match anything, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
Fair.
Well, Before
But
we
yeah,
get to
that's
Go
where
ahead,
the
go
idea
ahead.
came from. Having people interact with electronics and having that be an event in the building process. Having the electronics be their own show. That was the idea. Still
I
is.
like that.
It's fucking awesome. Yeah.
Well, I'll have you know that with the NWO-5000, the plate
Good quote.
is the PCB.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to the quote that you have on that PCB from Gondo.
It's literally right there.
That's the quote right there. It's
The
literally right
PCB is the plate.
there. Oh, PCB is the plate. Yeah.
That's it.
PCB is a plate.
No
That's
further.
it.
Like walks in, says those words, refuses to elaborate, leaves. Huge Chad.
Leaves.
That's it.
That's it.
That
Plates? Where we're going, we don't need plates.
Yeah.
exactly.
Do you
Not gonna
two or
G80 with a plate. Gross.
do any of you have any other questions or any topics you want to bring up before we close it with the good keyboard friend of the week segment? And again, Gondo can be on this podcast for future episodes. We'd love to have him on again and again, whenever he wants to, whenever he has
Gondo
time.
is a fucking treat to have on anywhere. When he
Yeah.
joins me for group bar reviews, it is majestic. When
So
he
good.
joins us here,
it's
it is
nice, man.
majestic. Gondo is a fantastic fucking keyboard friend.
Just ask me, man.
Like
I'll
he's
be
been
around.
he's been solid, as you have witnessed. He's one of the fucking solidest dudes in the hobby. We love him very fucking much. And like just so you know, Gondo, like it's the other way as well. Like if you ever need any help with anything, we're always here. If you just need to talk, we're always fucking here. Like you're a good fucking friend, and like understand that we're here for you as well. You're never on your own
I'm fine.
Also to
in
add
the
is,
online space.
also to add is he is the first guest we've had on the show that's actually quoted Kant.
That's probably the
That's-
first. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say
so take that as you will.
Gentlemen and
For
a
those
scholar.
keeping score.
For those keeping score, yeah.
Yep.
Maybe the next guy calls Heidegger. I don't know. Let's. We have to set the bar high. That's how it goes.
Fucking A.
Yeah, it's
Right.
awesome. It's awesome to be here, man. If you guys need me anytime, just shoot me a message and I'll be around.
This guy.
Ooh, I'll have you know that my shout out for good keyboard friend of the week, that like where I barely mentioned Daniel, he got back to me. He didn't even know about the podcast
Oh.
at all. So he discovered the
Yeah.
podcast, then like heard that, and then reached out, and I was like, "Hey, nice."
Hey.
It's
The
nice when
people-
people discover the
Hey.
podcast. It's
The
nice.
people
It's
that
nice
don't
when
get the
like
recognition. Yeah.
people don't realize that we're saying such nice things about everybody in here. So when people hear about it, they're just like, "Oh, okay."
Oh.
Like a lot of people have been enjoying the podcast. Like,
Yeah.
as Hubert would say, it's blown up, but it hasn't. It's growing very, very slowly. But we're making so much fucking content,
So
and
much
I
fun.
love it. It's great. I like everyone is concerned about me. They're like, "Why are you doing so many podcasts? Is it are they different podcasts?"
Yeah.
I was like, "No, it's all the same."
You've got to understand, Simon, that you've made a living in this community by being an asshole. So people are a little bit,
I
biased.
I was never the asshole. I was the
I
dad.
certainly, I'm gonna put it that way. I miss a heartbeat when people said Simon mentioned you on stream, and I'm like, what the fuck is that now?
Oh, no.
And that's a new clip that
I
everyone's
was
gonna cite,
listen. I was never the asshole. I was always the keyboard dad. And as the dad, sometimes you can be everyone's friend, and sometimes you have to be the dad. You have to be like, no, don't fucking do this. This is bad.
Whatever it
And
is,
sometimes you yell at somebody that fucking deserves it.
Simon,
Sometimes you have to be the dad.
whatever it is, just say to yourself so you can sleep well at night.
He's the beige knight. The
Exactly.
hero we need.
The
and
hero we
we
need, but
deserve.
not the one we deserve. Yes.
Yeah.
He's not
Listen,
a
I
hero
would,
need
I would,
either.
I would never
He's the
go
one we
out
have.
of. I would never go out of my way to like be mean to somebody.
Yep.
I would never fucking go out of my way to be mean to somebody. If I am yelling at something, it is for a good cause, always.
True.
I just want what's best for everyone.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
I just want everybody to have a good time, all right? That's all I want. I want
Okay.
everybody to be helpful, everybody to be nice, everybody to be cordial, everybody to learn, everybody to share, everybody to grow. That's what I fucking want.
I'm growing right now, man.
Oh yeah,
You can't see it, but it's there.
I'm growing too. But oh no.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh, gator kiss. So, the Good Keyboard Friend segment. We love this segment because we get to shout out people that may not get recognition, like Danielsun. That's fucking awesome that he responded to you. We want to shout out people.
I wouldn't say that he doesn't get recognition. He literally planned the largest meetup in the world. So like he's getting plenty. He's chilling. He's fine. But like I shouted at him out for like personal stuff
Other
that
stuff.
like was like I don't know, very important to me.
Yeah. So please, all the viewers, all the listeners, please reach out to me, Tanghus, Simon, James, either in DMs in Discord or leave your comments on Instagram or Spotify, wherever the fuck you want. Nominate someone that's made some difference in your life. It doesn't matter how big, how small, someone that's done a good deed, either for you or for the community, and we will shout them out at the end of each episode because we want to nominate these people. We want to recognize them, and some may get more recognition than others, but we're all in this hobby together and we all love fucking keyboards. And if we share this positivity around and we pay it forward, I think it's just going to make this community a better place. But like Jay, like real quick segment for the sponsor. Jay is a good keyboard friend. If you're big into coffee, if you live in the UK or if you live internationally, go to Jay's Roastery. I'll have the link in the description. Coupon code Flamingo, 10% off until the end of this month. People that are international, just email him first. I'll leave the email link as well. But yeah, for this week, I was gonna nominate Gondo. I'm still nominating Gondo, but I'm not gonna.
No,
Yes.
you did that last night. You can't do it again. Nice fucking try, kiddo. No, you. Listen,
a
I
reason
will
why.
buy you. I will buy you time. All right, but you can't do it twice in a row. That's immersion breaking. Okay, you're gonna kill the series. We're never gonna get greenlit for season 2. All right, we're not gonna get the funding that I'd wanted for the CGI. Come on.
Sorry.
All right, but I'll buy you some time. You know who's a great keyboard friend? Pwner. Pwner has left the hobby. Gondo, you know Pwner, right?
I know, Pwner, but let me just ask this: what exactly do you want CGI in the podcast? What it is that you want to achieve with CGI in this podcast?
I need to reduce the size of some things that I may show on the screen later, and I need
Or
it to be
enhance,
done
right?
tastefully.
I see.
I thought we wanted Hans Zimmer first.
Yeah.
Pwner's been out of the hobby for quite a while, and to be fair, he's kind of been
Unfortunately.
withdrawing over time. He's, in my opinion, a incredibly talented designer that's capable of doing very clean, simple, gorgeous fucking designs. He did the Illuminati 1, he did the ISO, he did the I-69, he did the I-80 1800 and TKL, and a lot of other shit. His Ion keyboards are fucking spectacular. He designed Wilba's thermal, right? Or was that Wilba the design? Not the thermal, the other one, the boxy one, the heavy one, the Zephyr.
Yeah, it was a Zephyr. Yes.
Yeah.
That went through the whole shit with Rama, not with Rama, with Zeal.
Yep. Oh, yep, that's it. But Pwner, fucking talented, like into the music that I love, fucking like hardcore metal.
Yep.
Fucking beautiful
I've had lots
shit.
of metal conversations with Pwner too.
Incredibly nice, sweet guy.
Yep.
Never fucking made a lick of money in this hobby. Probably lost more money than I ever did in this hobby. Amazing fucking dude. I don't know if he'll ever see this podcast, but like I always thinking about him, always making sure that like always hoping that like he's all right, and always missing the good times of having him in the hobby. He's fucking fantastic.
Shout out Pwner.
Unfortunately, the hobby has changed significantly throughout, the years, and unfortunately, there has been less and less space for people like Pwner, right? Very talented designers, which is good in some way and bad in other ways. The bad ways, the bad ways, of course, is that we lose people like him, right?
I don't know, like, cause like You get up and coming designers that are small designers that become larger designers. You look at Bull, or
That's
you
that's
look
being
at
that's being much more difficult,
A-
man. That's not
A-
how it happens
AKB
anymore.
James.
That's not how it happens
No,
anymore.
I'm saying that there are talented designers that have an opportunity to, make large scale stuff if they want to, but also have the opportunity to run smaller
Kind
scale
of
projects. The market still exists, Gondo.
the
Like
market still
you saw,
exists, but it's much lesser than it was then. And I get that that's good. I get that
sure,
people
but
get more affordable keyboards,
I
but
think
I'm just saying
it's
that it's
reasonable.
sad that people like it's reasonable. I'm not saying that it's not a good thing or a bad thing. What I'm saying is I feel sad that we're losing people like Pwner and
Yeah.
so many other people that that I really that I really enjoyed having around. AI is one of them.
Yes, AI03
AI. I really
is like
miss
next
AI.
up on my queue of like people that were immensely helpful
Yeah.
to learning shit and figuring out how to make keyboards and how do you organize this? Who do you talk to? Dude is just a massive fucking brain on legs.
He is. AI is awesome.
But also, a lot of the groundwork for these people is kind of gone in the hobby because it basically, the early days was a lot of fucking around and finding out and investigating and trying and exploring. And a lot of the exploring has been done already. So there's
No,
much
I
less
think
for
there's always room to branch out.
So
We've
I
seen
think
people
there.
add USB hubs and screens, and
Yeah.
is my overhead camera on? It
Well,
is.
I
And
think
like
that
I've got this wireless thing which is like absurd technology wise.
so in that regard, there has been this group, so the Contra group, right, which was AI, Heine, AI and Heine and someone else, wasn't it, Simon? Who else was that?
Well, I mean, Contra is pretty big. I'm pretty sure I'm still in the Contra Discord.
So the thing is, there were those three guys that make the Contra, and it got a huge thing. But those were the first guys that started doing keyboards a little bit more seriously than just bro science, right? Heine was already doing that a little bit with his PCBs. The Heine PCBs, they started off as replacements for the old Korean TKLs, if you remember that. So he was already starting to do that. The problem is that I think that the community always lacked a little bit of deep knowledge in electronics. I was fortunately the first one to say, hey guys, we should start doing, electrostatic suppression. We start doing overcharge protection and that kind of thing. So um, we owe a lot to these guys in AI too. AI specifically was one of the guys that studied a lot of sound. AI has one spreadsheet where he goes, okay, so this does that to the sound, and this characteristic does that to the sound, that kind of thing. Simon also did a lot of that, through observation. So
Yep.
AI, I would say that AI was pretty much one of the, if not the first guy that started looking at keyboard case development as more of a science than a trial and error kind of thing.
Yep. And he was the guy that basically pushed for the inclusion of daughter boards into everything.
Yep.
Made the unified daughter board, open sourced a lot of documentation and like
Yes.
resources for rendering, for creation, for a lot of stuff. Yeah. Huge player.
Fuck yeah. Well, I'll after me, I can hand it off to Tanghus and then Gondo for the nomination. But there's two reasons, in addition to what Simon said, why I picked Gondo as a good keyboard friend
God
for me.
fucking damn it.
The first, and I'm not gonna go into this project more because we still have a lot of work to do, me and my friend Spooky and I. But there is a charity initiative that Spooky and I are trying to figure out. It revolves like a games done quick design contest where a lot of designers, keycap, board designers will get together. However the fuck we'll do it, we're gonna put all of the proceeds to charity. And when I reached out to Gondo many months about this, he didn't know who the fuck I was. He immediately agreed to do it. It wasn't a binding argument, but it wasn't a binding agreement. But the fact that he's like, "Sure, I'm into this. This is cool. I'll do it if I can," speaks a lot to his character. In addition to what Simon said,
Have
and
you
then something
considered
else. Go ahead.
has this event happened yet?
No, it's a lot behind the scenes. Like Spooky and I are working really hard.
Do you guys want to
figure out-
add like keyboard building?
Yeah, anything for charity, dude.
Because like that'd be awesome. I'd love to fucking do that. I'd love to
Yeah.
like speed build some keyboards for charity.
Yeah.
I'm fucking down.
Fuck it. You said you gave a suggestion about
Yeah,
let's
I
have a meetup
literally
part of it.
wanted to do that specific fucking thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, when I reached out to you about the same charity thing, you're like, yeah, and I think it would also be good to do at meetups to have some sort of meetup component to it. You might not have remember because it was like months ago, but anyways,
Yeah, this is why we have the recap sheet.
yeah. Gondo said
brain
something
is
else
soup.
to me that I'm not going to divulge because it's very personal. If he wants to divulge it, it's fine. But he also talked about things that he did in his community.
Oh God, what did I say?
In terms of charity. Oh, you just said something about the charity.
I still do that, by the way. Yeah.
Okay,
He
guys,
does a
I'm
lot of
so
things.
thirsty. I'm sorry.
Go for
I'm
it.
just
Go
gonna
for it.
run to
No,
the
I
sink.
mean it's not a huge
Refill
thing,
this.
man. Come on, like you can say it. That's no problem. What I said, Hubert, was the fact that basically what it goes is I was very fortunate to be in this community because this community helps me sustain myself through my research career. And as I've said before, it's a very difficult career, especially in the money sense, right? So you are very, very like insanely underpaid for a long time, and the keyboard community was, offered me the opportunity to work for that kind of thing, and I live very comfortably, to be honest, and I'm like eternally grateful for the community and for a couple people for that. So what I try to do is get some of the proceedings that I get from the community, and I always try to donate them towards some institutions that we have around. I am very fond of this specific children's hospital that we have here, and they help a lot of low-income families, especially their cancer ward. If there is one thing that gets to me and makes me cry like a fucking child, is sick children. That's I've tried to do the whole clown thing. So we have groups here in Brazil that are the I would say that you would call them the doctors of fun, which is basically people that dress as clowns and put in like doctor clothes and go into children's hospital and try to get their moods up a little bit. I couldn't do that. I did that the first day. I was crying my ass off. And they actually, I wouldn't say that they expelled me. They were like, this is not for you. If this is your first day, you're not going to survive this, right? So they are a very serious organization, the hospital. They do very nice work, and you can actually see that they take very good care of the money. They are very diligent with that kind of thing. So I generally take some percentage. Every time that I get some money, I take some percentage and reserve, and I donate that to them. There are also a couple other institutions here that do some nice work that I try to contribute to as fast as I can. So when I was talking to Hubert, I was like, listen, I can't contribute money-wise because whatever I can do, I'm already doing. But if you need someone to design and to help you with the process itself, I'm your man. I'm always up for that kind of thing.
Yeah, he basically said that he gives to charities.
Yeah,
and that's
I try getting a
fucking
5 to 10% quota of everything that I earn, and I try to distribute them towards those. Then again, I'm a particular fan of the Children's Hospital because they, I don't know, the whole situation and the fact that they are very good with that and they manage that very well. So, but there are also other institutions that I help around. I am not saying all of this to gloat. I'm not saying everything, all of this to say that I'm a good person. What I'm saying is, if you guys, anyone that's hearing, would ever, feel compelled to do that, please do that. This is just humane. There's always gonna be someone, some institution, some NGO needing money to help people, and if you feel compelled to, absolutely visit them. Go there, try to do things. I've spent countless weekends with them trying to help in any way, shape, or form that I could. One of the best things that I've ever done in my life was charity work, volunteer work. One of the things that I've used to do, not anymore because of time, was going to low income areas and help people with their electrical installations. So we have this group here at the University of Engineers. We have supervision, of course, and we help them with their installations. But also being a general goofball, around children, that kind of thing, that really brings me up. And I've done that for many years. I still do from time to time. Right now, not available on time, but absolutely do that. If anyone that's hearing feels like they could do something else, something more for their general community, absolutely do that. But don't give them money. That's important, yes, but it's if you can, but actually go there, see people, see what they're going through, and know a little bit more of realities that are not your own. That's very important. And
Yeah,
really, really
educate yourself. It's important.
it builds you as a human being.
You need the context.
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, time, right? Time is the most valuable resource. You can never get more
It
of
is.
it. And if you spend your
It truly
time
is.
doing things like that, that's
truly
why I
is.
want to nominate Gondo to be Good Keyboard Friend of the Week for me. I was gonna say the other things that Simon said, keyboard related, but what Gondo said to me when I was talking about the charity thing, that's what really struck a chord for me. So that's why I was nominating him. But Tanghus and Gondo, if you have nominations, Tanghus first, if you have any. If not,
No,
that's fine.
I'm just a lurker here today. So
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So Gondo, you're good keyboard friend or friends.
So keyboard
nomination.
friends, unfortunately, the ones that really, really, really did help me, they are not around anymore. I would nominate AI. I would nominate MrKeebs. So there's this huge Brazilian streamer called MrKeebs. He helped me immensely, and unfortunately, I think he outgrew the hobby. His account is still around, but he doesn't show up as much. But I love the guy, and I wish that wasn't the case. I wish he was still around because he's such a nice person to be around. But the one that I can nominate, and I think you guys should absolutely have around, would be Upas from Keys.
Oh,
Yes, I reached out to him.
great.
But Simon,
So-
you have to reach out to him as well because he didn't respond to me, and you have more of a connection than I do.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I reached out to him and he
okay.
didn't respond.
Upas was
Yeah,
basically
I'll ask him.
Upas was
He'll
basically
usually
the-
respond within like a 2-week period.
yeah, he's insanely busy, right?
Like even to me. Like sometimes it'll be like same day, sometimes it's like 2 weeks later. But he responds. I don't think he's never not responded to me.
Upas was basically the guy that I wouldn't say he helped me whammy and launch my keyboard career, so he got me networking to meet a lot of people. At the time I was already doing some projects here and there, but things were very timid, and I was very bad period in my life financially. I was doing my master's at the time, and I didn't have any scholarships because there was this rule at university. It's a very contrived thing. So even though I scored first place in the admission program, I didn't get the scholarship. So I had to work part-time with that, and it was fucking horrible. And he helped with that, and that was very awesome. Upas was also the guy that did the Sagittarius without missing a heartbeat. So the story goes that we lost Casaduring. We lost Tom to depression. And it still gets me a little bit shaky because I was the one that found them, and it was very striking to me. But as soon as that happened, I was like, hey, listen, I have this project that I was working on with a friend. It was a very us thing because we just wanted to, I wouldn't say for the shits and giggles, but we were doing it because we thought it was awesome. But
Yeah.
the problem is that his family is having some very hard time. The thing is, at the time, Tom was doing part of his PhD in Belgium, I guess, and they didn't have all of the money to fund the bringing back his things, and the whole process. So his family is insanely poor. So I was like, hey, we need help with that. And then again, he just said, "Yep, let's make this happen." And then he designed the case for Sagittarius. I had the project kind of ready. I had the PCB. I had all of the math. If you guys head to the Sagittarius IC and check that, there's a lot into that. The IC has all the details. But I had the project, and I was like, "Hey, I need a case for it." And it was a very difficult keyboard to do because it's curved and weird, and I
Yeah.
couldn't make the case satisfactorily. I had made 3 or 4, but I was like, eh. And then he made an awesome case out of that, and it sold amazingly, even more than I expected, to be honest. So yeah, definitely bring you up. It's also awesome guy to be around, very funny person.
Wait, do you have a full knob Sagittarius?
That was just a meme, Simon. I'm
But do you
sorry.
have it?
No.
was the PCB like real at any point that would take all rotary encoders?
It was a meme, Simon.
How far did the meme go? I'm just asking for a friend.
It went for a long time. The thing about the
Okay,
meme is
no,
that
no. Like how far in development? Like how close to a final PCB design do you have? Like, could we get like 5 units of that and
no, we
like
can't. No, we
70
can't.
knobs?
No.
Why not? How far off is it?
It was a meme. I just put encoders around the PCB and I showed people. That was it because of the meme.
But theoretically, with like triple as many traces and a replacement controller, it would be possible, right?
Maybe.
I'm surprised you haven't fucking made this. What's wrong with you, guys? Where's your like? Where's your joy?
Why would I need
Where's
7 encoders?
I mean, it's a hilarious board. You had a hilarious like meme concept that you could have done with it. You never made it into a reality.
Simon, I'm not going to spend $1,000 on meme keyboard. I don't have that.
Yeah, sorry. I think my brain is just broken after talking to Jono last night. I'm saying this doesn't compute.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, that's a shame. That'd be awesome to make.
The thing about Sagittarius is that we had the first we had a huge problem at the time, which was the knob. So at the time we had the knob, but the firmwares couldn't do with like the multitasking of the knob. So the knob could do volume, but then someone else, okay, so I would like my knob to do page down, page up, or to do the mouse scroll, or whatever. And we're like, well, you know what? Let's put 3 fucking knobs in the keyboard, and then we can do whatever we want with those knobs. Right? Particularly for me, I liked the idea very much because at the time I was dealing with a lot of CAD work. And I could use those knobs to control different things in the CAD, you know. So
yeah, a horizontal scroll on the keyboard is just
pretty much. Yeah. So we did the 3 knobs thing, and people were, I don't know why that caught up. People were very drawn by the fact that it had 3 knobs, and then the meme started growing. And I think the first person to make fun of it was Taya. Taya types, and then it just caught on. And then at some point in time, people, Taya, he rated my stream. So I was designing the Sagittarius PCB. He rated my stream, and everyone was like, the knobs and knobs and knobs. And I'm like, fuck that. Let's make a lot of knobs. So I just put knobs all over the place, called it the Sagittarius, and DM'd him the render. It was a render. That's what that was. It was never a real PCB. I'm sorry. Your dreams, you know, your PCB dream is not real. I'm sorry to.
I know this falls into like one of the many like fake projects, like the TGR 910 SE with a Simon face on the blocker.
Exactly.
I have evidence that TGR Sam has promised this. What else was just like the hugest fucking meme that like we absolutely should have made. Fuck. I did a version of the ISO that because
the
I1, a version of the I1, because you know the I1 has the scroll lock blocker on it because memes. We did a spacebar blocker. And it's got an engraving on the spacebar.
Oh my god.
Or where it would go.
You know, I would love to see a flying Kai, so that when you throw it on the bed, it doesn't shit other keyboards too. That would be awesome.
A little parachute. We need a little parachute that like deploys.
Yeah,
so it slows down its rate of descent.
That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. You know, or Simon, maybe you use this very advanced technology called a carrying case, so that you can just. There you go.
I think you're onto something. Like put a accelerometer
into it. You guys are so lucky. And like
you can't once see, you reach a certain threshold of G's, a small parachute pops up. I think that's
there you go.
Beautiful idea.
3 G's.
What are we waiting for? Let's make that.
Yeah. There are 7 keyboards, just like varying degrees of on the floor, uncovered.
Fuck.
I need help.
You do. Yes. We all do.
I don't want to cut you off, Gondo, if you have anything else for the nominations. But do you have anything else?
So you should have got Upas is an amazing guy. MrKeebs is not around. I would gladly tell him, but he's not around anymore. Another guy that I really, 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 really like is Blurk.
Oh.
Also a very nice person, a very guy, to talk to, very nice designer. Always talking to him. And AI is not a guy that goes in podcasts, is it? No. No, she's not.
He's real elusive. It's like trying to fucking catch a leprechaun, dude.
It's difficult, yes. Heine would be a nice guy, but he's I believe he's already, in a little bit of dire straits with the community.
Is he? I mean, we talked recently. I did the first and only episode of a series that I made up on my YouTube channel. That there were no follow-up episodes planned for.
Yeah, I think Heine
I had to plan a
is
fucking move across the planet, guys. I'm sorry.
pretty much. He got a day job eventually, so I'm not sure he's devoting that much time to the community anymore.
But he's a very, very cool guy to hang out with. So
He's
it
an
might be
awesome
fun to
dude.
just like hang out and like not even talk about keyboards at all. We can like
lots of
make it a rule.
conversations. Yeah, lots of
We can
conversations.
literally
with
just
Heine.
make it a rule of like we don't talk about boards or business. What the fuck's
Heine-
going on? How are you?
Heine is one of those guys that I looked at and was like, I want to be that when I grow up. I want to be that guy. Yeah.
The thing is, I don't remember Heine for keyboards. I remember him from something completely different entirely.
Yeah,
So we have plenty of material to talk about on the podcast.
there is. That I can nominate. I think those two. The Upas is an awesome guy. Blurk is also around. You had Jay, amazing
Yep.
guy. Bull is an awesome person to have. Very, very chill guy. Very nice
4
guy.
weeks. 4 weeks we'll have Bull on.
Awesome. Bull. James from AEKB. So me and Upas and James were making this project together, and I've had lots of opportunities to talk with James. Amazing guy too.
2 weeks. James in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I can think
Ladies
of.
and gentlemen, we got them all. Pokedex filled
We
up.
got 'em all.
Done. Finito.
Nice. Yeah, those are the guys I can think of. If I think of anyone else, I'll shoot you something.
No worries. And anybody else you want to shout out just for being a good person in general before we end it?
There are so many people. This hobby was. I'm very proud to say that I've been in the, how can I say this, in the backstage of the hobby for a long time now, like 10 years? And this hobby was built by good people. If it weren't for a specific set of very illuminated human beings that were around that just did stuff because it was right, this wouldn't exist. Keyboards wouldn't exist, because that's what it took to make things happen. Like that I can think like awesome people in the hobby.
Remember, very importantly, Gondo, you were part of that too.
Yes.
I was, but the matter of fact is that I was someone that was more drawn into it rather than someone that built it. I was that guy that was also that was always invited to do things, and I was like, hey, this is cool, let's make it. And I tried to make it the best that I could with the resources that I had. It was always very difficult to make things happen for me, especially because bringing things into Brazil is very difficult. One of the difficulties that I still have in making projects, which was a huge problem when I started doing like my AC PCB, was the fact that getting shit here is very difficult. Getting prototypes, getting samples is like insanely difficult. So I had a lot of people that did that work for me, and that was amazing. So I wouldn't say that I was an spectator. Yes, I was a participant, but I wasn't the person that was that had this idea of building a community. I was much more of, hey, we have to strive to keep this alive. Especially because I'm not a community guy. I'm not that person. I'm not the kind of guy that rallies people around him. I'm much more of a operational worker bee, I guess.
Oh, I disagree. I think many people watching and or listening to this consider Gondo a very strong keyboard dad.
Maybe I would be very honored to be a reference in some people's minds. But I struggle to see
you most
myself.
definitely are. You most definitely are. You're highly accomplished, Gondo. You're incredibly fucking accomplished, and you've done a lot of good. And you've made a lot of resources available, and you've got a great amount of knowledge that you continue to share with everybody, and that's fucking fantastic of you, dude. Like you need to appreciate that, you know. Like sure, like all of us do like good in the hobby, but like you're up there. You're one of the pillars, dude. You're fucking solid.
At,
You'll
at,
always be one of the pillars.
at the end of the day, it's not about keyboards, is it?
No, of course fucking not. It's about just being a solid motherfucking person.
Pretty much.
Yep.
But the people that I know that built this, that are, you know, solid, are like AI was one of the first guys. Then again, design wise, AI was the guy that launched the whole design thing. He made keyboards into the technically, because at the time before AI, keyboards were a hobby design thing. We designed keyboards because we liked them, and we were like, "Hey, I designed this. Does anyone else want it?" You know, that was the thing. AI was the guy that made this into a whole like product development cycle. Keyboards have this very set developmental stages and cycles as a product, pretty much because of AI. So
Yeah.
I would say that AI was one of those guys. I would say for me that one of the guys that still helps the community, two guys actually, are Oblo and Mike from NovelKeys. You know, if it wasn't for Oblo and Mike saving many of the group buys that we've had around, probably this community wouldn't exist anymore. I also
Yep.
want to say a guy that really influenced me, but is not around anymore, was Gone, which was the designer of the OTD PCBs, of the TKL OTD PCBs. Awesome dude, amazing person. I exchanged a few words with him at the time, through this friend of mine that was Korean. He also inspired me a lot, and he was a guy that did a lot of the community back when he was, you know, um, um, still the infant. Actually, a whole of the OTD team did stuff just because. Um, yeah, that I can really think as pillars of the whole community are those guys. You know, so
Fuck yeah.
I wish
Wait,
people could have
Gondo,
more.
what? Something's eluding me. Ah, shit. What was Gon's website?
On keyboard works.
No,
Yep.
his original one.
Oh,
Speak.
I don't remember. It's been so long.
What was it like? Was it winkeyless.kr
No, it was
or something?
winking.kr.
Yes.
There you go. Thank you, Gondo.
It's not around
But
anymore, is
speaking
it?
of,
No, it's probably
speaking of
long
Gone,
fucking gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
Hey.
Awesome. So, for you guys that don't know, Gon was the guy that designed the OTD keyboards, and then he opened up what was probably the first keyboard-related store. This was in Korea, obviously, and
Yep.
he released pretty much, I wouldn't say released, but he opened up a lot of his designs that eventually evolved into the modern keyboards that we have. The first keyboards were pretty much based on Gon's work. And the fact that that guy could be probably a multimillionaire by today's standards, if he had kept on, really tells something about that. He was, you know what? This doesn't. That takes balls. That takes cojones to say, hey, listen, this doesn't give me joy anymore, and I'm out. I'm fine. He closed WinKey store. And he was like, I was talking to him about that. He was like, "Hey, there's lots of other people around that are making what I was making, and they're making it good. I don't have to worry about that anymore." And that was awesome. The other guy that I can nominate was this guy called Hasu, right? So Hasu was the guy that made QMK.
Oh, yes.
So for people that are listening that don't know, QMK, which is pretty much the backbone of the community of the keyboard, it was actually a fork of TMK. TMK was made by this,
I've
I believe
worked
he's
with
Japanese.
TMK. He is
Called
Japanese. He lives in
he's Japanese.
Japan.
Called
I know for
Hasu.
a fact he still answers his emails, by the way.
No, he's
And,
awesome. He's awesome. I exchanged a few words with him on Geek
he's
Hack
great.
sometimes still. He's
He's
amazing.
great.
And very laid back guy. He never wanted any kind of recognition at all. He doesn't like it even. But he basically built the firmware that we use today, which later became QMK. He still works on it. It's still being actively maintained. And I can also nominate the QMK development team. Myself, I think QMK as an organization has lots of problems, which I've already voiced to them. But the matter of fact is that if we didn't have QMK, we probably would have the largest problem that we have in the community, which is the firmware and software support problem. Those guys, they don't get anything to do that at all. They do that just out of their free spare time. It's an amazing piece of software. And ultimately, that brings us down to 3 guys, which are Jack Humbert, Scully Dazed, and the Ergodox guy, I forget his name, which were basically, so QMK was basically forked by Jack Humbert for his OLKB keyboards, the Planck, the Prionic at the time, but he decided to just open it up. Fuck that, let's open it up. And then eventually Scully joined in, and then again, I forget his name. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this, the Ergodox guy. And they made QMK, and then they opened it up, and then it grew, and it became what it is today. So huge shout out to those guys. They're amazing. No one gets anything to do that. And it's a fucking pain in the ass what they do. Honestly, it's very difficult to do what they do. And yeah, that's pretty much what I have.
I reached out to Jack, but he hasn't responded, so I might need to reach out again.
I'm not sure where Jack is, honestly, because OLKB has been fading through time. They haven't come up with new stuff. Jack hasn't answered. Myself and Jack, we have some previous stories that might be a little bit unsavory, let's put it that word. But after all these years, I still admire the guy. After the I wouldn't say the bad blood. I don't know how he feels about that. The whole thing that went down with the Shark PCB and everything. But if I still admire him as an entrepreneur, as a guy that just made things because of that and make a very DIY oriented store and hobby. Probably a QMK and the community became this very DIY thing, and the community is what it is because of Jack, because Jack shaped QMK and LKB to be that. So the whole building process was something that, although was very new, so just so you guys understand, before we had OLKB and say OTD, so the OTDs, they were very difficult to build because you had just a PCB and you had to solder everything on. You had to solder the microcontroller, which was this huge thing, and the diodes and the LEDs.
It was at least it was through hole. At least it was fucking through hole.
It was, but you can imagine that when a larger audience comes to mind, and in order to make that large and to divulge, you have to perfect that process. You have to make that better. And even though people came before him, Jack was the guy that perfected this. He was like, I can make this process actually joyful. Because when people were building OTDs, the building process was a strain. The building process was a nuisance. They were like, okay, I have to build this. But then they were looking forward to having the keyboard. These days, the building process is the thing. Many people just build the keyboards and they put the keyboard on a shelf, and that's it. Because the joy of it is building the keyboard, is the process. And Jack was the guy that perfected the process. Jack, and I believe these first PCBs were made by Wilba, were the guys that thought about that. And it's genius, isn't it? That how can I make the building process of a keyboard, which is something that no one has ever thought before, a pleasurable. How can I make that process pleasurable? That's huge. That's fucking huge. And huge shout out to that guy. And that was very nice of him, what he did for the community. And I really, really, really wish I had more time to talk to him and know a lot of the things that he went through, because he went through a lot. He was one of the first guys that did a collab with Mass Drop at the time. So Mass Drop, then again, also lots of people don't know this, but a huge vector of the hobby for many people was Mass Drop. It still is, but it was larger back then.
It was big back.
It was insanely
big. Believe it or not, Mass Drop was good for a brief period of time.
No, I mean, it still is. If you go to Mass Drop, they still have nice things going on. And you can buy quality stuff for pretty cheap in Mass Drop.
Do you remember when it used to be, when the massive people bought it, the price dropped? That's when it was good.
It was a golden years. But Jack was the first guy that brought keyboards to Mass Drop, and they embraced it, and it was a huge, huge, huge positive force in the hobby, in popularizing it. Mass Drop is probably the reason why the keyboard community is huge in the US, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was also a lot of actors. I feel like these guys, Gon, Jack, the QMK guys, Hasu, they're unsung heroes, and it really saddens me. You know, I really wish those guys. They probably don't want the recognition, but I really wish those guys were a little bit more known. That people knew a little bit more of the
Yes.
heroes that made the thing happen. And I really, really, really wish that was the case.
I will reach out to him again, and hopefully we can have him on. But
Yeah,
Absolutely,
I mean,
man.
just-
And I listened to some podcasts and some stuff that he, some of his videos that he talks on, and he sounds like such an amazing guy.
yeah.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure he is. Like
Yeah.
in every single space, not just keyboards, there are so many unsung heroes that are the makers and maintainers of open source software.
If you
Always.
can also ask someone from the QMK team to be on. So Zvecker, Dreshna are the ones that I know the most, are the ones that I have the most contact with. Awesome guys. Zark too. Zark is amazing. Love the guy. He has helped me so much. Huge shout out to Zark. Actually, Zark saved not exactly me, but the thing is, during the pandemic, we had a huge chip shortage. So I went to Zark and I was like, I can make this topology, which I call the Joker topology, on keyboards, which basically means that one design can take like 30 something different STM microcontrollers, but I need the software support for that. And he was like, he did it. He worked his ass off to make that. He and another guy, Zikprof, make the support for the F4 family, which is the one that I use today, and it saved keyboards in the, at least for me, in the pandemic, because through them I was able to do all of the group buys. During the pandemic was striking and we were buying microcontrollers at $10-12 a unit.
Yeah,
I was able to buy them at 2 or 3.
32 U4s were fucking unobtainium.
Unobtainable. So due to that, we were able to target specific classes of microcontrollers that were cheaper, and we could make it hardware. I worked on the hardware support, and they worked on the Joker firmware support. And Zark was the guy that that spearheaded that, and he saved me pretty much. So if you can have them, I don't know exactly, like I don't know him personally. We're not that kind of friends. We are in very large contact because of the technical aspects. But I feel that he's an awesome person. Dreshna also an awesome person. Zvecker also very, and they're all very technically capable too. So they might as well give you some very nice insights into how the process goes. So if you can, absolutely give them a shout out in the QMK Discord.
Hell yeah. Well, Gondo, thanks again. On behalf of all of us here, Tanghus, me, Simon, James, and again, if you are in the States or this is Father's Day, do you reach out to your father or your father figure or a good keyboard dad? Tell him you love him. Spread that love. But on behalf of all of us here,
Gondo,
it was a
we love you.
We love you, Gondo. This was a
Thank
fucking
you, keyboard
awesome
dad.
episode. 3 fucking hours, dude.
was
And I
awesome.
wanted to just let you guys go because it was so impactful, so meaningful, and it's like this was a really deep and thoughtful conversation. But
It was.
for all of us,
If I do another podcast right now, I'm gonna melt.
hugemeatbox.com for all our socials. We'll have this episode out. We'll have episodes out every Friday at midnight Central Time. Going forward, YouTube episodes every Friday, midnight Central Time. They will be released. But yeah, thanks everybody, and have a great Father's Day. Have a great rest of your day. On behalf of all of us, goodbye, everybody. Ciao.
Ah.